brought to you by the Bicycle Casino in Los Angeles, California, the first and only webcast of real action cash game poker. My name's Bart Hanson. I'm here with Dave Tuckman. And it's a good thing you're wearing that white shirt, Dave, because it doesn't make me look as much like a ghost.
Well, that's exactly why I'm wearing it. I'm just wearing it for you, okay?
Because you know I like the black shirts, and when...
Yeah, we're all here just to make you look good, Bart. Don't you know that?
I knew it.
Yeah.
I knew it already. Well, 612 Limit Hold'em tonight. It's Monday. We like to keep that Limit Hold'em. So let's get to the table, and let's start this thing.
Yeah.
Now, normally in these games we have some new players that we haven't seen on the show before. So let's go around and introduce everyone.
Yeah, we try to keep this show for everybody. So one night at Limit Hold'em, folks. In seat one, we've got Ray, and that is his last name's Hariri, I want to say. Ray Hariri. And seat two, we've got Vincent. And seat three, we've got Michael. There's Michael. SP Surfing on 2+2. Seat four, we've got Jake. Jake the Snake. Seat five, we've got Craig. And is that a Duke hat? Duke Blue Devil hat?
No. I don't think so.
No? Okay.
No.
I'm not sure what it was.
I don't think so.
Dover hat, maybe? Seat six, we got Masood. And Masood's little short chip there. Seat seven, we've got Michael. And Michael will play anything. He's playing 6-12 tonight. He plays 8-16. He'll play 30-60 sometimes.
Right.
He's here just to have a good time. He's a local businessman, and the money doesn't really mean that much to him. But he's actually a pretty good player. Seat eight, we've got George Lopez. And seat nine, we've got Tommy.
Wow, this is an unbelievable hand. I don't know if we can flip to the board real quick. We got three people in the hand. Kings, queens, and tens. And if we can, there we go. So tens has a straight here over in seat 8. Queens for seat 5 and kings for seat 7.
Hey, if you're queens, can you get away from the hand pretty safe? Looking at you, like, well, what can I beat?
And Michael was all in. And straight is going to take it down there for George. So we're playing 6-12 Hold'em, and the green chips are $2 chips. It's a 3-6 chip structured game. So it's not, you're not going to see as many chips in the pot as, say, a 4-8 chip structured game, which is,
right,
say, 8-16, 4-8, or 20-40, something like that.
Our traditional 8-16 game, exactly.
Yeah. But it's always, it's nice to mix up some limit Hold'em as well. I mean, I think a majority of the people that play online, that multi-table, play a lot of limit Hold'em. Although I've been switching to playing no limit Hold'em.
It was funny. I actually saw you get up right around 6:40 or so, 6:38.
Yeah.
And I was about to get up myself, and I said, you know what, I think I can play one more round.
Yeah.
Well, one long hand later, and it's already 5-2, and I'm like rushing in.
Limped over here by seat 8, and seat number 2 is going to raise. It looks like he's got 4-5 offsuit, and pocket 4s here is going to 3-bet out of the big blind.
Wow.
That's definitely one way to play it. And seat 8, who limped in with ace-10, is going to call. And it looked like actually seat 2 raised with pocket 5s.
It's not a terrible play if you think that it's a button steal, and if you think your re-raise can get rid of the guy
drive
who
the other
limped in,
guy out.
And then you get a heads up.
Well, the other guy who limped in has top pair here, ace-10.
Yeah.
Now, Jacob comes up and bets with pocket 4s. George just calls with the ace-10, as does Vincent. Vincent overcalls with pocket 5s. Turns a deuce. Now both players pick up straight draws. Ray is not in the hand with queen 5. And it gets checked to George. He's going to bet again. And Vincent calls.
And Jacob can safely throw his hand away here, yeah.
So Vincent needs a 5 or a 4 here. And the river's a 5, and he makes a set.
Wow.
Now, oftentimes you will see, wow, well, ace-10's going to bet right in here, and I would think that pocket 5's is going to raise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And can you throw your hand away for ace-10 here, or are you paying off? You got to pay off on maybe the missed draw.
Well, you know, there aren't a lot of people at this level that are capable of a bluff raise on the river.
Yeah, I mean...
What I was going to say is, Dave, I've seen people check the river down in position with the set of 5s, afraid of the one card straight there. And it's just like,
as if the guy was betting.
Automatic value bet.
Right, as if the guy was betting with a 4 the entire way.
Right. And then check the river when he got there. Right. But Vincent raised it.
Oh, hey, he paid for his draw and he got there, so why not charge the guy?
You can email us at live@thebike.com.
How was your weekend? Good?
Pretty good weekend.
Yeah?
You can also follow a live thread that's started on the internet. Go to 2plus2.com, spelled out. Click on forums, World Poker Tour, and other televised tournaments. The official Live at the Bike thread for, January 30th already.
January 3rd. I swear, man. You get older, time flies. Button is in seat 3. Small blind is $3. Big blind is $6. Seat 8 limps in with queen deuce suited. That's not 2 queens, folks. That's queen deuce suited. And seat 1 raised it up with ace 10 of hearts.
And we got to see four-way action here.
Yeah, the flop is queen 8-4, a couple of hearts. Seat 1 has now got the flush draw.
Yep.
But seat 8's got top pair with a queen.
Queen rag suited. He checks it, and Ray's going to make the bet here with the flush draw. And Jacob here is going to call with ace-king. Oftentimes you see that, Dave. He doesn't really have any draw here.
No, but he has the best hand. No, I'm sorry, he doesn't actually. Seat 8's in there.
Queen got the best hand.
Apologize.
Turns an ace. Look at that. He spikes an ace. And now Ray's hand, top pair flush draw. Jacob throws a bet out here with ace-king. And I don't remember exactly what the pre-flop action was. But
it was raised in seat 1 and then called.
I was going to say, sometimes if you're Ray, you might raise here and then maybe check a free showdown on the river if you don't hit your heart. But we'll see what he's going to do. He's just going to call.
It's a great spot to raise here on the turn.
Yeah.
You're 100% right
he
there.
He just calls. And the river's a heart, and he gets there.
Now, that does pair the board, but I imagine he's going to bet anyway.
Wow, he didn't bet. That's unbelievable.
Wow.
That's amazing that he didn't bet there.
No, I love that play. Personally, if you've got like ace-10 where you know you're going to call the guy down if you miss your draw,
right?
I'll often raise the turn. Now, the only thing that can suck, obviously, is if you get re-raised, you have to call now.
Right.
And then suddenly you've now paid the absolute maximum for your draw.
Well, although you can...
Knowing you're behind.
Yeah, you've paid 3 bets instead of 2 bets.
Right.
But, I mean...
Well, you paid 3 bets plus, now are you going to pay off the river because the pot's big enough? Who knows? You shouldn't, but
yeah.
Some people get finagled into doing that.
Pocket kings here for, I think it's the big blind. Oh, no, seat 5. He's in the small blind. Ace-queen here offsuit, and he's just going to limp in to open the pot. Seat 8. Seat 9 limps in with ace-8. That's SP Surf and Michael over there in C3.
Yep.
2+2er. He folds.
And seat 5 is going to raise out of the blinds with the kings. Masood is going to call with 8-7 of hearts.
8-7 of hearts.
And ace-queen's going to call, and ace-8's going to call, and we're going to see this 4 ways.
Yep.
So it's suddenly 4 ways times $12, folks. So that's a $48 pot. Flop is king 5-3. Look at that top set.
Wow.
And he checks it.
Turns an 8. Well, again, there isn't a whole lot of reason to slow play and limit hold'em, Dave. I just don't get it. Turn is an 8.
Now, guys will often take one off, especially with like George with ace-queen, and now he can probably throw his ace-queen away, right?
Yeah. He's drawing totally dead. Everyone's drawing totally dead. Now, is Tommy going to overcall with ace-8 here? No.
But, I mean, Masood's the only one in there with 7-8.
7-8. River's a 6. And pocket kings bets here again. Masood calls all in, and the set of kings there is going to take it down. Now, clear example there. If you bet the flop, you might, like you said, you might get ace-queen to call.
You might even get ace-8 to call.
You
So
never know
in
at
these
this level.
limits. Yeah, you never know.
And then by betting the flop, you're making the pot larger, and people now who pick up some sort of ridiculous backdoor draw on the turn will continue to call you.
Exactly.
You know, maybe for like a 3 or 4 outer or something like that.
Like in that case, let's say you had called with overcards and spades,
right.
and then you picked up the spade draw. Well, now the pot's bigger. I'm definitely going to stay in there.
Sometimes, again, very, very expert play. If you've got a ton of people in there and you have an overpair on a connected board, you might want to do something to try to keep the pot a little bit smaller on the flop, and then possibly maybe get a double-sized bet on the turn to knock out the draws. But with the set, Dave, if you take a look at all the cards you're up against, especially draws, you definitely just want to jam and get the amount of money in there as possible in the small betting round.
Limit hold'em. I mean, the more I see it, limit hold'em is like it's almost like, especially in normal games, the tighter you play, the more successful you'll be. And if you pretty much play it 90% straightforward, you can beat the games.
Now, Mike raised here with King 10 suited. He's going to bet right in here. He's open-ended. Queen, Jack, Deuce. Now, Craig's got ace-10. He's got a gut shot, and Craig is not even going to take one off here.
Yeah, it's a pretty easy lay down there. Ace-10, no heart. There's 2 hearts out there. You only got one overcard to the board, and you don't even know if it's any good. Michael could have raised ace queen or ace jack.
It's almost like a commonly known secret, Dave, because I only know a handful of people here in the casino that will raise on the turn with draws or raise on the turn with their mediocre hands and check the river for a free showdown, which is why I find it incredibly easy to fold when I'm raised on the turn or when I'm check raised on the turn against normal average competition, people who are businessmen, see it all the time in the 30-60 game. One pair just isn't good. Sometimes you've got to figure out if you have odds to maybe spike two pair with your overpair.
Well, let's count tonight. You know what? Just for a little game for us and for people on 2+2 and people at home listening. Count how many times we see turn raises or river raises.
Right.
And see how many times the guy actually has the goods and how many times it's bluff. So far, we've seen one river raise, and certainly, obviously, he had the goods. So it's 1-0. I'm curious what if we see one bluff on the turn of the river.
And they're going to chop this one up.
And when I say bluff, I mean bluff raise, not just obviously people will bet their bluffs.
Now, we've said it before. In this game, chopping makes a whole lot of sense. We're playing 6-12 Hold'em where the drop is 4 off the top plus 1 on the jackpot, Dave. So if you just limp in, you're talking about taking 40% of the pot in the drop on the flop. If you see a flop. If you just limp in the small blind. Yeah. Now, in no limit, we talk about it doesn't make a whole lot of sense because of the implied odds, and especially if you're in the big blind. Playing your position.
I mean, hey, if I'm playing, if you're, some people would say, well, what about the implied odds if you're playing in the $100 game and you only have like $60, and the other guy only has like $50?
That might be true too.
Yeah, I mean, exactly.
Yeah.
But if you start putting a whole bunch of conditions to it, people will get angry.
Right.
I'm curious how many bluff raises we see on the turn in the river.
Limped around here. Oftentimes at this level, you see raises for the free card on the flop to get the free card on the turn. Queen, deuce here. It's missed everyone.
Oftentimes at any level,
Yeah, it's really...
I mean, Barry Greenstein talked about it, doing it, and that's in the big game.
Right.
Once again, we are live at the bike, folks. I'm David Tuckman here with Bart Hansen. You're watching Limit Hold'em. And it's a 6-12 game tonight. So the blinds are 3 and 6.
Green chips or $2 chips?
I actually just left a game, a $500 no limit game. The blinds are 5 and 10 in that game. And one gentleman was literally, I mean, I'm not even joking, literally giving money away.
Well, that's always nice, isn't it?
It was a joke. I mean, this guy was I think he bought in for $6,000 in 1 hour. $2,000 at a time, just giving it away.
We were talking about it, and now... Dave, I helped Mo start the 5-10 game this afternoon, and I just love every minute.
Yeah, what time did Mo doesn't get into about 4, right?
I helped him start. He get in a little bit earlier today, around 3 today.
Okay.
Limped around here, and I had a bad day today, and I lost about $400, which to me is just nothing compared to a bad day in a short-handed 30-60 game where you could lose $2,500.
Yeah.
8-5 deuce here, rainbow.
I want to say is the best hand actually seat 1 with 4 deuce?
Could be.
It is. No 5s, no 8s.
Well, George has got a 5. He's going to bet.
Oh, okay, there you go. I didn't see that on the right side.
Yeah. But look at this. Seat number 2 he's going to check raise. He doesn't really have a draw here.
No, he's just got overcards. He's got spades.
And Masood is called 2-bet stone cold with a wheel draw in seat 6.
You wonder if Vincent is kind of putting this guy on like, this guy probably has nothing. I'm going to raise it up.
Well, Vincent's going to check now. Turn was a 6. Masood checks, I believe. Now let's see if George is now going to bet with a pair, and he's open-ended. He bets. And Vincent, I think, he's in there, and so is Masood. And the river here is a 10.
Yeah.
And George is good here with a pair of 5s, right?
Yeah, you wonder what Vincent was doing there. I mean, he raised in the flop, sensing George's weakness, but then just shut down.
Now look at this. George is going to bet here a mediocre holding on the river, a pair of 5s. A lot of people would just check that right down, right?
Yeah, and limit hold'em especially.
Yeah.
Well, hey, value bets are great. You never know. Maybe you get paid off by a deuce. You wonder if you can get a hand that's worse than yours to actually pay you off there.
Yep. Email here from Riley G. Matthews Jr. He says, I'm multitasking on full tilt under broadsword, $16,000 full tilt tourney. while watching Live with the Bike. Well, I get a lot of word that people do that. Dave, damn it, I don't know if anyone's out there
Yeah.
who listens to the show who works for Full Tilt or is a big fan of Full Tilt, but I meant to play that horse tournament. I want to do that on Sundays, and I forgot last night. $200 horse
I
tournament.
got you.
Yeah.
Next Sunday then.
Yeah. Three-way action here.
We got 6s versus 9s.
Yep.
And seat 2 is actually in there with 9-5.
King, Queen, 7.
Then we got Dolly Parton in there. Again, 6s and 9s.
Yep.
Flop is King, Queen, 7. So whoever's the aggressor here might take this down, but no. Interestingly enough, George is stubborn. Seat 4.
Well, he's only got pocket 6s. The turn's a queen.
Yeah, seat 4.
And he's going to bet again on the queen here on the turn.
Yeah, and if you're George, can you really call this? What can you beat?
I don't know if he was trying to take one off or if he thinks he has the best hand. He's going to call again. And now that you're not raised, if you're Jacob, you got to think, boy, what do you think the guy has? The river's a 4. That's no help. Thought I'd give a set to someone for a second.
But it's an exciting
It
4.
gets checked down.
It's really an exciting 4. Now, do you mind that check on the river? You got to wonder, you go, well, if the guy had Jack 10, I don't need to bet it, and he's not going to pay me off. And if he had anything else, he's
If he had
probably
a
going to pay
queen,
me
he
off.
probably would raise.
Right, and if he had a king, he's
Yeah.
probably going to pay me off. And, I mean, he's probably
Yeah.
going to call. I can't get him off the hand. Maybe you can get him off a 7.
7, maybe. I don't know. I don't know if you can get him off a 7. I don't know if the 4 changes anything.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think, is there any point in betting? I don't mind the check there. He probably saved himself $12 by checking.
Dave, I play a lot of internet poker, and I know you don't really play all that much, but I have to do a little bit of whining because I know a lot of people play internet poker. I was playing on Full Tilt consistently until I used my $600 bonus up, and they wouldn't give me any other type of bonus deal, so I stopped playing.
Really?
Tell me what you think of people about that. I can get my
So they gave
bonus
you
on
600
Absolute.
So they gave you $600 for
well,
playing?
I played, the amount of rate
Whatever,
hands.
like 16,000 hands.
And Absolute
right?
gives me a reload bonus every week. Full Tilt was like, well, you got to wait a couple months. I was like, all right. So
Then
I
I'll wait
lost
a couple,
my business.
I'll wait a couple months till I play on your site.
Yeah, exactly.
I see what you mean.
Three-way action here. 9, 4, 8, couple hearts.
Top pair for Masood here.
And he's going to come out and bet. Now, the button here, Ray, is going to call with overs, ace 10.
Interesting, though, it's black cards here. He's got ace of clubs and 10 of spades.
Now, look at Michael. He's going to call with a gut shot, backdoor diamond draw. The turn is a 3.
And Masood's going to stay. He's going to keep betting this.
Yeah. Oftentimes, if I'm playing this straightforward, I want to comment about Michael's hand here with the Jack 7 as he folds. You kind of have to have a game plan in Limit Hold'em. If the pot isn't raised, which I do not believe it was pre-flop, and I might be wrong about that.
Right.
I told you I was whining about Full Tilt. You don't really want to take one off for a 4-outer. Now, if it was raised and the pot's big enough, you might want to try to spike the gut shot. But again, that hand, Jack 7, is never going to be the nut straight. So if there's a lot of people in there, you got to adjust your odds for that as well.
Yeah, obviously, and being the nut straight using both cards.
Right. Plus, there were 2 hearts.
Now,
Plus,
I mean, if
there
he
were 2
knows
hearts.
his overcards are good as well, I mean, he's got 7 outs, but still.
I don't like to get involved in small pots that I've played passively in Limit Hold'em.
Yeah, Limit Hold'em is
Yeah.
a game you really, to me, you really want to play it from ahead.
Right.
Let other people chase you.
Right.
Let them give me bad beats.
Limp here. And we've got 6 players, so that's a $36 pot. 6 small bets, 7, 4, 4. It doesn't look like anybody has a 4. A couple people have 7s. Masood's going to come out and bet here with Queen 7.
Now, seat 1, Ray has 7-8.
And he's going to raise. Now look, now Masood doesn't have a 4. But if he did have a 4, look what would have happened. And Masood's actually going to 3-bet here.
Wow.
All right. Turns another 4, and this one's going to get chopped up here unless one of the players hits their kicker. And the river's a deuce. Chop it up. And Masood just check-called the whole way there. River was a deuce. They're going to chop it up.
Well, yeah, after actually 3-bet the flop and then shut down. Like the third 4, he thought maybe that helped him more.
Yeah, that was a little bit strange. Email here from Blue Gill. I know about the 2+2 thread. However, are there any plans on upgrading the show with an on-site real-time chat room. Have we discussed that?
We discussed obviously doing a possible a Q&A, like a question and answer type thing,
Right.
with you and me and possibly some guests, some professional guest players and so forth. And obviously, if we get that off the ground, that will be kind of a real-time, chat room.
Right.
So we'll see where that goes, but we'll definitely bring it up with our producers.
Button's going to move over there to seat number 3. Actually, the funny thing about that is a chat room would be interesting. But because we have a 5-minute delay, as I'm now thinking, real time wouldn't really fit in, would it?
Well, I mean, it's all relevant. I mean, 2 plus 2, is it real time? Well, it's not really real time for us, but
right.
As far as they're concerned, it's real time.
Yeah, I guess you could have a chat room where people...
Right. I mean, obviously, for our show, like, say, our 11 p.m. show, there would be nobody here.
Right. Wow, 2 ace-kings here. Ace-king suited for seat 4, ace-king in seat 5.
And kings.
Pocket kings for seat 9. Seat 9's going to raise.
And there's another, and we see another ace dead, by the way, in seat 2.
Yeah, he's going to call with ace-rag offsuit. Now, the small blind's just going to call here with ace-king suited. Seat 5 is just going to call. And Masood is in there with the little suited connector. So here we go.
Yeah, pot's $60, folks.
Jack, 6, Jack.
Yeah, and all the aces are drawing to 1 ace.
And Jacob's going to come out and bet here with ace-king. He bets, and he's short. Craig's going to fold. I'm sure Masood's going to fold. Let's see if Tommy's going to pop it up one time. He's just going to call. Now, here's another interesting example here. Now, most likely Jacob is going to shut down here, and he's short. But I've seen this play a lot. Turn here is a 9.
6 all in.
Jacob's going to bet 6 all in here, and Tommy's going to call.
Yeah, and Jacob is almost drawing dead here.
Rivers and 8 kings.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, Tommy there, Dave, in seat number 9, you bet out at him in early position, he's just going to call with an overpair, thinking I'm going to wait until the turn to raise. So if you bet out on him with trips, and he calls the flop and you bet again, and he raises, now you get an extra bet.
Right.
So
We've seen so many times where
yeah.
I've seen so many times where a flop like that of Jack 6 Jack.
Right.
Somebody has a Jack and the other player has 6s full, and they both slow play it so much that no money ever goes in the pocket.
Right.
Now, obviously, in no limit hold'em, you can make it all up on the river.
Right.
But you can't do that in limit hold'em.
Michael, you have
I mean, theoretically, you can, I suppose, if you kept going back and forth, but oftentimes somebody will stop.
I love it sometimes when someone's shown a lot of strength on the flop by either, raising or re-raising. And I think they have the big hand, and I flop trips, like something like ace, queen, 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 3. I bet they call, and I know they have king surge aces, and they're just going to raise me on the turn.
3 players.
3-way action here. I think seat number 4 raised here.
Yeah, he's on the button with ace queen, so it makes sense.
Jack 9-4.
Well, Vincent's open-ended here with queen 10.
It's going to get checked around. Turn is an ace. Jacob takes the free card, and he hits the ace now. Vincent's going to bet right in with his draw now. And let's see what Jacob is going to do. He is going to raise.
He's going to raise it up. Now, this is rare even to raise it up with just one pair. But
Vincent calls.
this is the second raise, by the way, on the turn. And once again, he has the goods.
River's an 8.
Uh-oh, and queen 10's gotten there. Vincent's got the straight.
And I think he just checked it down.
Well, it wasn't
wait a minute. He bet.
Queen, or aces.
Seat 4 bet the river, and Vincent called. So Jacob made what he thought was a little value bet there on the river. And maybe we don't have the cards up right, because that would be a straight, right?
Yes, we would.
Yeah. So something was a little bit odd there in that hand.
Yeah, clearly.
Yeah.
Apologize for that. Once again, we are live, unedited,
Yep.
unscripted. Once in a while, we make a mistake.
Button moves over there to seat 5.
That was somewhat odd.
The funniest thing about that, though, Dave, is I've done that before. If I was the guy in ace-queen's hand, I've actually value bet the river and got called by a hand as good as 3 of a kind or a straight because they were afraid of the third flop. And obviously in limit hold'em, I'm going to do that a lot because if I get check raised, I know my hand isn't good. And if they're just going to call, it's just one extra bet. The amount of times I bet and I get called by a worse hand outweighs that by
Look
a
at
ton.
this. Aces for seat 7. Aces for Michael.
He's in the big blind. He's going to raise out of the big blind.
I got to tell you, Michael's one of the nicest guys here.
He's a
Really
pretty
is.
tight, solid player, too.
Yeah.
We got 4-way action here. So 8 small bets in the pot. Seat 5 is not in the hand. Jack 4-3, couple diamonds. Well, I don't know if anyone can even get involved here, can
No,
they?
I don't think so. I mean, Michael's even got the ace of diamonds in his hand. He's in really good shape.
Yeah, Michael's pretty disciplined. I hope he doesn't make me eat those words by the end of the night. Sometimes I say that about some players I play with and haven't ever seen their cards, but
Yeah.
he's always seemed to be pretty disciplined, pretty tight.
And you can tell the money. I mean, today he's playing 6-12. Tomorrow,
Right.
tonight he could be playing 30-60.
Right.
I was playing 30-60 with him actually probably a week ago. Actually, 2 weeks ago. And as a birthday present, he gave one of the cocktail waitresses $100.
Big blind, please.
Wow.
And she looked at him. She's like, I can't. She goes, oh, take it. Leave me alone.
A little post here on 2+2 by Stern Rules. I've played against most of these guys. It might play tight for a while, but watch out when, not if, but when somebody goes on tilt.
And that's generally the rule in most poker games.
6 players.
Pocket jacks for seat 5. The important thing as a poker player is to try to identify when the player is steaming and take advantage of that.
Well, look at Michael's hand. He's got 8-9 of diamonds, and the flop comes Queen 10-8. He's got a pair and a flush draw, and he's going to come out and bet.
Craig still's the best hand here, though, huh?
Now with pocket jacks. So Michael's got 8-9 of diamonds in seat 7, and Craig is going to raise here in seat 5. Masood called with King 9. Actually, Masood raises with King 9. Michael calls. Seat 8 calls.
Masood raised with King 9?
Yeah.
Wow, okay. It's an interesting way to play the hand.
Here we go to the turn. The turn's a 5.
To call someone, you can put the phone right there and they'll text message you all day.
It's going to get checked to Masood, and he's going to take a card here, and jacks are still good. And the river's a 5, and jacks are still good. Michael never improved on his hand there, Dave.
I'm all for raising on the...
And now Craig's going to come out and bet. He figured Masood checked the turn.
Yeah.
He probably doesn't have a queen.
Yeah, but all those players in the pot there, you figure maybe one of them has a queen,
Well,
huh?
It doesn't look like he's going to get called by
Now, the
anybody.
interesting, the way Masood played the hand, you'd almost think that he had an open-ended straight draw or diamonds because he raised the flop
Right.
and took the free card, but he really had no draw.
Right.
And he had a backdoor flush draw and a gut shot.
Button moves over here to seat 7.
I mean, you talk about this level, obviously. Raising on the turn with a draw is rare even at 20-40 and 30-60.
Right. To all those people out there that are asking me about full tilt, I already have that other thing going. But in addition to, I want my bonuses as well.
You're greedy. Pocket kings, I mean, these big hands are
Yeah,
flying
pocket
around
kings.
here.
He's going to raise it up out of the seat 9.
Yeah, and Jake's in there with 4s again. He loves those 4s.
5 players.
5-way action here, so we're going to see 10 small bets in the pot. Kings is raised. Well,
Oh.
ace, 9, 10.
2 pair for Ray, but
Now-
it's open-ended for George.
Now, it's funny. Tommy's going to come out and bet. Sometimes, especially at a small limit game, Dave, with this flop, I actually just might check fold kings. I've given up. He
so-
bets, Ray raises. I mean, maybe people might think, well, I'm giving up too much by doing that, but I just...
Yeah, the problem is, though, is, okay, if you bet and you get called in one spot by,
Right.
like, say, a queen jack,
Right,
and then the turn comes out of, I mean, this guy's almost drawing dead. I mean, even a king's not going to help him.
right. George is open-ended here. Turn is a 10, and that's another thing that kings can't beat now.
Well,
and Ray
now-
is filled up.
Well, Tommy's no longer drawing dead. A king
And look
comes
at
out-
that. Ray didn't bet the turn. He missed a bet. He would have gotten a call by at least George and possibly Tommy. He was in position, Dave. What's the point of
Yeah,
that?
and now he might get called by Tommy, but he's certainly not going to get called by George.
Yeah.
George is open-ended with actually drawing dead open-ended.
Now, again, you can make that move in no limit, right? Because you
course.
can let the guy catch up. But in limit hold'em, there's just no reason to ever check the turn there.
Yeah, I mean, there's a chance, actually, if he bets the turn, he gets called in both spots.
Right.
And he still gets called by Tommy in the
Yeah,
river.
he still gets called by somebody on the river, yeah. Or how about, he gets called in both spots and then Queen Jack makes it on the river. And bets. And then you raise again. I mean, it's almost
Right.
like he was thinking, I'm going to let him catch up so that if they hit their straight, they'll bet and I'll raise.
How about a king on the river? What a magic card that would have been, huh?
Oh, yeah. And again, most players at this level are not professional poker players, and we don't mean to demean them in any personal way.
No, this is
Yeah.
obviously we're just talking about the hand specifically.
Right, right.
So, I mean, if there's anybody we're going to talk bad about, it's going to be somebody like Donna, our assistant, you know?
Oh, man, Donna's got to get... She's got to... I got 2 of those $1 million promotions in my pocket, and they're doing the last drawing at 9 o'clock.
Oh,
So
I
Donna's
forgot
going to have...
mine.
I have them in my wallet, so Donna's going to need to tell me, because you have to be there within 5 minutes of the drawing. Limped around here. 10-3-7. 2 pair here for seat 8.
I forgot mine.
Vincent's going to come out and bet with 8-9. He's open-ended. Ray has a flush draw in seat 1.
Raise.
And George is going to raise. He was playing 10-3.
Oh, 10-3 on the button, and he's got 2 pair.
Yeah. Now, Ray calls, and Vincent calls.
Cap it.
And actually, Ray jammed it. He made it 3 bets, Dave. Another case of why would you make it 3 bets with the flush draw to try to drive out the initial better, right?
Well, now he's drawing dead.
Turns a 10. George has a full house now.
Actually, they're both drawing dead.
And he's going to bet here again. He
And-
does not check the turn.
There you go. And if one of these guys hits their draw,
Well,
but you notice how all the raising action all happened on the flop. It didn't happen on the turn.
Well, what I was going to say is that Ray did that common play that we see that baffles me so much. We'll get to it at the end. Oh, the river's an 8.
And it's a spade, and let's see what happens here.
Well, Ray is not in the hand. It's actually 8-9. Vincent in the hand. Yeah, seat 2 and
So
seat
he
8.
paid-
Vincent's
oh, I see.
8-9. Ray had
So
folded
he
on
actually
the turn.
paid him off with 8-9.
Right. But what I was going to say for Ray,
I thought he
though,
made a
is
flush.
Ray actually folded the spade draw there on the turn. But why would you 3-bet with a pure flush draw?
Right.
Sometimes I see that, and it gets me, who's the initial better, to actually fold the hand. And I'm
The best
sitting to
hand.
myself, and I'm like, yeah, the best hand. And well, they're like, well, my attention got there, but you lost the other player when you didn't hit your draw.
Yeah.
He had 2-4 spades. There was nothing else going there.
Now, with overcards in a spade
Yeah,
draw,
of
sometimes
course.
you want to drive out something
Of
else.
course.
Like, I'll give you an example. Let's say I have ace-queen
Yeah.
of spades in that case. And you're in there with, like, say ace-5, and the flop is 10-5 deuce. Well, I
Right.
want to try to get that ace-5 out of there.
Raise.
So if I hit my queen or my ace, I'm good.
Ace-king here for seat 5. Going to raise it up.
3 bets.
And Vincent's going to 3-bet here out of position with ace-10 of hearts. He's played it pretty aggressively so far.
All in.
Well, this is one of those...
Well, Vincent's all in. He's just putting himself all in
Okay.
here. Craig calls. And ace-king is going to win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, sometimes you can take advantage. If you have ace-10, you can 3-bet. It's almost more of a 3-betting hand or a fold hand. Because if somebody else is ace-king or ace-queen and they miss the flop, you might be able to get them off it. But if you're all in, obviously, it's not going to work. Or if your
Yeah,
opponent's all in.
ace-10, ace-jack. Those types of hands.
Oftentimes, in position, they're 3-bet hands or folding hands.
Ace-jack suited, sometimes you just call.
Yeah.
Oh, it is Duke. There you go.
Okay.
Blue Devils. The Blue Devils. You ever been to North Carolina before?
I've been there.
Yeah.
I have. Kind of a cool little
You've been
place.
to Chapel
actually.
Hill before?
I've never been to Chapel Hill, no.
No.
Or Duke.
And that Southern girl
100 on 2.
debutante.
Yeah, North
Loving.
Carolina, I love. I mean, I actually I like North Carolina a lot more than like the deep South.
Oh yeah, of course. It's more.
Yeah.
It's like aristocratic.
Yeah.
They have like balls and stuff like that. What I mean, like a dance.
Can you
know?
ballroom dance? Pocket kings here for Vincent.
Yep.
Raised it up 3 ways now. And bad flop for him there.
Yep. George has got the ace. Vincent's gonna bet here with kings. And let's see what George is gonna do. He's just gonna call. Well, we go to the turn. Oh, turns a king, and Vincent's got trip kings,
Yep. There you go. And George is drawing dead, folks.
and he's gonna bet again. And George calls.
And George is only calling also because he doesn't know if he has a good kick or not. And I'm sure Vincent will bet the river.
River's a 10. Wow, anyone with a queen now would have a straight, but he's going to bet. It's a third heart. And there you go. George just calls. Now, sometimes it's, you know, if you get raised on the river there, Dave, well, you say with a set, can you fold your hand? I mean, sometimes it's a tough fold, but who's going to really raise you on the river with 2 pair there?
Yeah,
You know,
especially, once again, especially at this game.
Yeah.
So far, we've seen 2 raises on the turn on the river,
Right.
and both time they've had the goods.
Now, we did see a raise, like I said, by Jacob with only 1 pair.
Right, but it was still good.
But it was top pair, second
Top
best
kicker.
kicker.
No, actually, it was top pair top. He had ace queen, and the queen came on the river. Oh, no, the ace came. I'm sorry, ace,
Ace
right.
came on
Top
the
pair
turn.
at the queen,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
For some reason, I thought it was a queen.
Looks like we got pocket tens over here for Jacob in the big blind.
Raise.
A lot of pocket pairs flying around this board. Ace 10 from Masood. And he's raised it up.
3 bets.
Vincent calls, and wow, Jacob's going to 3-bet it with tens.
Yep.
So we've got $18 three ways, $54 pot, folks.
And Jacob's the 3-better out of the blind. Look at that, ace 5-7. Oh, 3-5-7. So Jacob's the overporter now. Is Vincent going to get himself into trouble?
Raise.
He's going to pop it up here with top pair. A bet by Jacob, a call by Masood. And let's see if Jacob's going to 3-bet.
3 bets.
He's going to 3-bet here. Now at this point, a tight, solid player is screaming, I have an overpair.
Oh, yeah.
Now with my 7-9 of diamonds, sometimes the odds, the pocket's so big that you can take one off to see if you hit 2 pair or pick up a diamond draw. Because
Right.
it's only one more small bet to you right here.
Well, if he picks up a 6, an 8, or a diamond, he picks up some sort of a draw here.
Right. Turns an ace.
Well, let's see if he can use that.
And it goes
Wow.
check, check. River's an ace.
I mean, why?
And
if
look
you're
at
che-
this. Jacob bets the river. I love it. It's a great value bet, and he's going to get
Well,
called.
it's an easy bet on the river. I don't understand
No.
why he didn't bet the turn. You've 3-bet the turn, the flop, right?
Right,
Your opponent's called you after raising you. Why would you put him on an ace?
right.
The flop is 7-5-3. You know, oftentimes somebody, if there's a flush draw out there, you can put somebody on the ace high flush
Now,
draw.
for example, there, 7-9 of diamonds. Say the turn card is an ace of diamonds, and say Jacob bet into me. That's a clear time for a raise, I think, with 7-9 of diamonds.
Yeah.
Because the guy has jammed it. He's representing an overpair. It's that much less likely that he has 2 aces now that the aces appeared. I think that's a scary card for him. I pop it on the turn with a pair and a flush draw.
Yeah, you've got a little bit of fold equity.
Yeah.
And he's
Yeah.
certainly, if he only has, say, pocket kings, queens, jacks, or
Right.
tens in that case,
Right.
he's all he's going to do is call you down.
Right.
And you can obviously check it on the river.
Yeah.
And if he 3-bets you, you pretty much know he's got aces full and you can throw it away.
Well, it wasn't full yet.
No, okay, he
Yeah.
has 3 aces and you're
Yeah.
drawing slim.
Or ace king, maybe. Something like that. Who knows?
Okay.
But a lot of players aren't going to do that with ace king. You're right. 8-5 deuce here.
3.
A bet here and a raise, and Masood's trying to put himself all in. I think he's trying to jam it. Vincent called with ace 8. He has the best hand. Masood bets again. Vincent calls again. Turn was a king.
Masood's in bad shape here.
River is a 7.
Doesn't get there. Vincent's got the best hand.
And this one's just going to get checked out.
Yeah, and jamming hard in a 6-12 game is usually a good way to lose your money. You know? It's really
Without
hard to,
anything, you mean?
it's hard to run over a game like
Right.
this, you know? It really is.
Well, look at this. Bikini, or Binky, excuse me, on 2+2 says, can you explain the strategy of raising a draw? Well, of course, everyone's always learned from lower limits and what the traditional way of raising with your draw is to say raise on the flop and say maybe take a free card when it's checked to you on the turn. The problem is that it doesn't really disguise your hand at all, right? That's why sometimes you can raise on the turn with your draws, and it means a lot more. You have a lot more fold equity.
Right.
You have no fold equity really on the flop.
Right, and it's obviously in limit holding.
Yeah.
But obviously if you're raising with your draw, especially in position,
Yeah.
it puts you in a spot where you can really,
Cap.
Right. Now
you can name your price.
Vincent raised it here. Now, again, I think Michael's making a mistake. Vincent raised it. Michael called. A 3-bet by Masood, a call by C1, and Vincent capped it. And then Michael called 2 more bets cold
Yeah.
with pocket 3s. I think that's a time to fold that as well.
4 players.
6-6 deuce here.
And it normally a pretty good flop for 3s, but
Now, Ray's got flush cards. Yeah, you're either going to raise that with 3s or just fold.
yeah. And the only reason we're being hard on Michael is we know he watches the archives
Right.
and he actually appreciates this.
Yeah.
This is one of those cases where it's really even an easier fold. He does not have the 3 of spades in his hand.
Right. Masood is all in. Ray's got
Oh,
over
well.
cards and a spade draw. Turns a 9. Queens are still good here.
I'll actually take that back because the 3 of spades obviously would give him a full house. For some reason, I didn't see the paired board out there.
Here we go to the river. The river's
Wow.
queen, and Vincent fills up.
Yeah.
He fills up. He's going to bet.
Side pot.
I mean, the rule of thumb that I like to use, especially if somebody's really, really loose that's in the big blind, that might have changed things because I knew that Masood was pretty much all in, so you're not going to necessarily have the implied odds from him because he doesn't have any chips. But if there are 3 people in front of me, either 2 people in front of me and one I know that's going to call on the blind, and I'm in position, I can call with a small pocket pair. So I'm going to be getting 3 people with the double-sized bet. I can make the call, and I think at that point that if I hit my set, I really have implied odds.
Of course.
I never call 3 bets with a small pocket pair. Never.
Yeah, I mean,
You know.
I don't really want to call even a raise
Yeah.
with a small pocket pair unless there are a lot of players
Right.
involved.
Pocket aces here on the button.
Now, in no limit hold'em, because I actually want to backtrack on that, the flop was 6-6 deuce, okay, with 2 spades. And if you don't have this, you actually, in that case, in a no limit game,
Raise.
you actually don't want the spade in your hand because the magic card is actually your, like in that case, it would be 3 of spades,
Right.
which hopefully would give somebody else the flush while it would give you a full house.
Well, we had a raise here. I believe it was by seat number 2 with pocket deuces. A call by Michael with ace-10 offsuit. I hate that hand. And seat 5 is 3-bet with aces. Masood is called 3-bets cold here with 9-5 of diamonds from up front.
And Ray's got 4-8 of diamonds, so they're in really bad shape.
Now, Tommy's got queen-jack of clubs. He limped, and he's not going to call for 2 more bets out of position. Probably pretty solid. But Ray calls, and Vincent calls. And Craig's in there with aces. So we've got 3 bets times 4, 12 small bets on the pot. Craig's got the aces.
And Michael called again.
Yeah.
He called 2 more bets, huh?
Big-time trap hand. 7-3-7. Again, pretty good flop for aces.
Yeah, even 4 ways, you're even with 4 callers, you're kind of happy with the board pairing there.
And look at this. Michael's going to bet. And look at this. See, aces just call here. They just call. So, again, it's that situation. And Vincent calls.
You imagine that is he going to raise the turn here?
Turns of 4. You would think so.
But is Michael going to shut down?
No, he's going to bet again.
Wow.
Yeah. There you
And,
go.
yeah, pretty predictable
And
there.
again, this is the perfect example why I preach to raise, to, you know,
Bet with your 7 there.
to bet with my 7.
Yeah.
Because this guy's going to make this play every single time. And now you can 3-bet.
Exactly.
As opposed to, say, check raising the turn. You know?
And you can't, and some people will do this, some people will call that and then check the river hoping to check raise. But you can't always do that because the aces might just check behind you.
Right, right. Well, Stern rules on 2+2 says, I don't understand raising with the draw in these low-limit Southern California games because no one folds to turn raises.
And he happens to be right there. What Bart is bringing up, obviously, is a play that sometimes will work in a bigger game against an opponent that is paying attention.
Right.
To be honest with you, when you're playing in a game, a 6-12 game like this, if you play ABC and you play it, you know, it's pretty straightforward, you can beat these games.
But we're making the point, kind of a backwards point, is that when you are raised on the turn or on the river, players that play this game, almost 99.9% of the time, they're going to have a better hand. than
Right,
just one
exactly.
pair.
We're trying to preach actually that you can lay your hand down on
Right,
the turn when
right,
you're getting raised.
right.
That was the third. By the way, that was the 3rd time somebody has raised either on the river or the turn.
Yeah.
And all 3 times somebody's had it.
Right.
So
Or
I'm
had
waiting
what
for-
they definitely thought was the best hand.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting to see somebody actually raise bluff on the turn or the river with a raise.
Yeah.
We'll see.
But moves over there to Masood, seat 6. Masood is a dealer here, I believe.
Yes, he is.
I don't know if he's ever dealt for Live at the Bike before.
He's a good dealer,
Yeah,
but we only get the premium.
Raise.
right in our dreams. Raise here by seat number 1. He's got pocket queens. Now look at that. Michael in seat 2 easily mucked ace-5 of hearts in the small blind, or seat 7 there.
Yeah.
Now the big blind's going to call with ace-10. Jack 9 here.
Yeah, not a good flop for ace 10.
And it goes check. The turn's a 5.
Ray loves to play tricky this limit game.
And now he's probably going to feel good about the fact that he's going to raise the turn.
Raise.
And this will, again, probably... And look at this. George is going to call. This is going to continue to probably, have him make these bad, bad habit mistakes.
I mean,
Rivers at 3.
I hate slow playing in limit hold'em. But, wow.
Wow,
George's
called
paying
him
off with
all the
ace
way.
high.
Yep.
You know, and like I was going to say, I hate slow playing in limit hold'em, but in that case, it actually worked for Ray because he actually got paid off. But you wonder, you know, since George paid him off the entire way anyway, you wonder if maybe he missed a bet on the flop.
Well, the other thing is that against, like I said, someone normally might just check fold there on the turn. You've missed a bet on the flop because they might call with ace-10 on the flop.
Right.
In that case, it worked. He was trying to play it tricky, and it worked. But again,
Well, you know,
it's just
put a little bait out there, and he caught
yeah,
something.
yeah.
Are you a big fisherman?
No, I've only fished like one time in my life.
What?
Yeah.
One time in your life? Wow. And
I
you're
actually went tuna fishing in Prince Edward Island.
I mean, you're from New England area.
Yeah, we were never really big outdoor people. We got three-way action. Jack 6-8. We got Queen Jack over there for seat 8. He's going to come out and bet with top pair.
Yeah. Yeah, no callers here. He's going to take it down. Jacob was not in the hand with top pair there. Jack 8. If you have any questions or comments for us, please email us at live@thebike.com. Do appreciate it.
Why, have you gone fishing before?
Yeah, I love fishing.
Yeah.
Love fishing.
Do you watch Bassmasters on ESPN sometimes?
Regularly.
Really?
Yeah, I love fishing. No, I don't watch Bassmasters, but I do. I love fishing. I actually I spent 6 weeks in Alaska like 3 years ago. That was amazing.
Pocket Tens is going to raise here out of seat 2. Masood has moved over to seat 7. He's going to call with 8-9 offsuit. And he's going to get it heads up here. 10s against 8-9, it looks like.
Maybe we can do a live at the bike fishing field trip.
Well, Masood's got a straight draw, but he needs one of Vincent's 10s. Bet here, and Masood calls.
Masood calls? Wow.
Turns a deuce.
It's one of those times where if I'm going to go for a gut shot, I want overcards.
Check, check, and the river's now an 8.
And this will probably go check, check. Yeah, there you go. No, I don't mind calling with a gut shot, but I want to have overcards. If let's say the flop there is 5-6 deuce, and I have 8-9. Okay, hey, a 7 comes, I'm good. An 8 comes, I might be good. A 9 comes, I might be good. But with a flop of Queen Jack 7, man, I got to catch exactly a 10 to like my hand. And you know what? If a 10 comes out, let's think about it. Vincent raised pre-flop. Couldn't he have ace king?
Right. Ace-10 offsuit here for CD. Just a limp in the cutoff.
Raise.
Board is king 5 deuce, couple of diamonds. George still's the best hand, and he's going to call Vincent's bet. Vincent actually bet out. Turns a 3. Both players have a wheel draw, and Vincent's going to bet again. And George is put in a tough spot here by just calling, but he's going to call. And he's got the best hand, but how does he know that? And the river's a king, doesn't change anything.
Yeah,
and
Vincent's
going to bet it. Vincent's going to bet again.
Yeah, now George folds ace
And George
high.
lays it down.
There you go.
Another rule of thumb for me, generally, if I don't have a big draw, if I'm calling on the turn with what I think is the best hand, I'm going to call the river too. Unless something really changes on the river.
Right. Buttons over there in seat number 1.
Now, I'm just referring to a 2+2 posting here by Russ McGinley. And one of the things he said, I think raising when you just have a draw, in other words, spiking a pair will not likely win you the pot, is chip spewing. And I happen to agree with him. Oftentimes we'll see that, like we saw earlier, with somebody raising with deuce 4 spades.
Right.
Doesn't really make much sense. Oftentimes I will, and what I think both of us are talking about is, we're raising with what in position on the turn with a hand that we're going to call down anyway.
On the river. So you can get some fold equity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, you get a little fold equity, plus if you improve your hand,
Right.
you get an extra bet in there. If you don't improve your hand, generally the guy will check to you and you can check behind, and it costs you the same amount.
Vincent's got a pocket queens again. He raised out of the small blind.
What, are you keeping him?
3 callers, so 4-way action here. Well, 7-5-5. Let's see if George gets himself involved here. Vincent looks like he's going to bet.
It's not a bad flop for 4s, is it?
Well, you would think that you would raise here if you liked your hand, and he is going to
Yeah,
raise.
he's going to raise it up.
And Vincent calls. And let's see how Vincent's going to play the turn. Is he trying to set a check raise up? The turn's a deuce. He's just going to come out and bet again, and George just calls.
Interesting. Why not bet? Why not 3-bet it then?
Right. And the river's a 9, and he bets again. And George calls, and Vincent's going to take it down with queens. What I was going to say was that I thought Vincent was setting up a play by just calling.
Right,
the
and
flop,
checking.
check raising the turn. And the reason why I bring that up is because if you actually had a 5, once again, you would win more money by raising the flop. Or in that case, you could have raised the turn.
Yeah.
He bet into the turn. So,
I will often even, let's say I'm in George's spot in position, I will often even raise with my 5 there. Because what will happen against a good player is that they have queens. They'll bet, I'll raise, they'll 3-bet it. Okay, then I'll smooth call.
Right. Now
then they bet the turn, I raise them then again.
Right.
Or I might even smooth call that last one. And at the turn, and then when they bet the river, I can raise it. I mean, there's different ways to play it, obviously.
Again, though, there's so few people that are able to lay down over pairs.
Oh, especially,
at that point.
especially in limit hold'em.
I just raise the turn because I don't want some sort of action killer to kill me on the river. Like, you don't want an ace or a king to come on the river in that case.
Right, where he might check it and you might
Yeah.
just bet it once.
Yeah.
I am with you.
5-way action here, raised by seat number 2, Queen Jack suited.
$60 pot.
5, 6, 8 here.
A nice flop for George here. He's got a pair with a straight draw.
Well, seat 4 is going to come out and bet with 3-4. He's open-ended, but it's not the good straight because if a 7 comes, anyone with a 9 would have a higher straight.
Yeah, that's a garbage open-ended straight draw there.
Queen 7 raises Masood.
I mean, that's basically a gut shot for all intents and purposes. I mean, the only card you want is a deuce.
Seat 8 calls with 6-7, pair and a straight draw, and Vincent calls with Queen Jack suited. Wow. Unbelievable. So remember, Jacob bet that flop, turns a 9, and now 2 players have straights. George has a straight, and Masood has a straight. Seat 7's
Now,
going
do
to
you
bet here.
bang? No, look at George's hand here. He's got the straight with the flush draw. He's free-rolling. And I think this calls for a raise.
He's just going to call. Yeah, why wouldn't you raise? Anyone with a 7's definitely going to call.
Well, you're hoping somebody has a 7. Now,
Yeah,
some
and
people can
Vincent
argue.
calls.
Some
Vincent's
people
got a
can
gut shot
argue.
to a 10.
Yeah, some people can argue you don't want to get rid of Vincent. You know, you want to keep him in and make him charge. But why not? If one player or 2 players have it, and there's a
Wow,
10.
the river's a 10, and Vincent makes a backdoor nut straight.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Bet by Masood, a call, and Vincent's going to raise.
Yeah.
Wow. Absolutely nothing on the flop. Masood calls.
Runner straight there. And you
That's-
know what, though? George cost himself this one by not raising the turn with what was a monster. And he's got to turn Queen Jack over here.
Unbelievable. What a straight.
And that's
Well,
like a Jerry Buss-esque
You know,
runner straight.
Again, what I say, though, is that, you know, you're not trying to drive off Queen Jack when you have 6, 7 of diamonds there on the turn. You're trying to raise to get more money in the pot so people with 7s will call you on your free roll.
Right.
I'm not trying to drive out Queen Jack. So, yeah, in this case, it did cost him the pot, but you can't go back and say, boy, you lost the pot on that one because you didn't raise the turn. I just don't buy it.
Right, I'm with you on that. I understand
Yeah.
you're saying, well, you almost want to keep Queen Jack in there, and
Right.
somebody can make that argument.
Right.
But like you said, my argument's more the other way in the sense of if somebody has, if let's say one player or even 2 players have 7s,
Right.
you're going to get called in 2 spots, and you're on a complete free roll.
Right. And a lot of players at this level will call with 2 pair as well,
Yeah.
trying to spike a full house. So.
Well, that third diamond might scare people.
Right. Limp here by seat number 8, 4-5 off suit.
Button is in seat 3. That's SP Surfing on 2+2.
5-way action.
Flop is 10-3-4. Couple of clubs out there. And top pair for seat 2, that's Vincent. He's on fire.
Raise.
And he's going to raise it up. We got a bet out of seat 8 by George with second pair. And seat 2 has raised it. And George is going to 3-bet it with 4-5. Michael is not in the hand. And we got it heads up here. Turn is an ace. That changes nothing here. George has picked up a wheel draw as well. He needs a deuce, a 4, or a 5 to win this pot. Vincent's got a pair of 10s. And the River's a 5. Look at that. And George
Wow.
has made 2 pair.
2 pair on the river.
Yeah, and George played it really hard.
And he's
as
going to
if-
bet again.
Well, he played it as if he had, he already had a huge hand or something.
Right?
2 pair.
And 2 pair is going to take it down. He gets rivered, and Vincent, the moan and groan of Limit Hold'em River cards.
Yeah, well, I mean, he just gave George a bad beat, so
Right.
easy come, easy go, huh?
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable, huh?
Yep.
Amazing. Live at the bike,
I want to
folks.
say hi to the poker.ca. That's a Canadian website. Here are a lot of people in Ottawa watching us tonight. So shout out to them.
Poker?
Yep, poker.ca. Boy, that Canadian Daniel Negreanu, he's doing pretty well for himself, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a decent player,
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of psyched. I'm trying to set up a trip to Canada, other side of Canada, though, trying to go to Whistler for a little skiing.
Have you
Snowboarding,
been to,
actually.
Have you been to Banff before?
I've been to Banff.
Lake Louise?
I've been there, yeah. Never in the winter, only in the summer.
Yeah, me too. Limped around here, 4-way action. 9, 10, 8. Now we got King Jack there. He's open-ended. Jack 6 is going to come out and bet.
Yeah, that's the kind of open end that I really like.
Now
He's got-
again, if you're Ray, well, he's going to raise here with the King Jack.
well, this is a different case. He's got overcards.
Right.
So maybe he can drive out a 9 or an 8.
Well, he can't drive out Vincent. Sometimes, boy, if somebody raises that flop, I don't get involved with 10-3. Not that I'd be involved with 10-3 pre-flop either.
Well-
Turns a 3, now he has 2 pair.
Yeah, and Ray's only got the open-ended outs now.
Seat 8's got Jack 6. He's still in the hand.
I mean, Ray was actually a favorite on the flop.
He gets checked around to Vincent. He bets with 2 pair. And the action's over to Ray here. He's going to check call. So Vincent needs to dodge a queen or a 7 here. And the river here is in 8. So his 2 pair doesn't play, but his 10 is good anyways.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
He's got 10s and 8s with a 9 kicker,
Right.
while none of the players, all they have is a pair of 8s, obviously.
But I think Vincent bet the end with the 10.
Really?
Yep.
Little value bet there.
But I mean, these guys have totally missed their hands.
Yeah. And normally I don't like to value bet with a hand you don't think you can get called by hands worse. But hey, George called him down with ace high before.
Well, maybe you get called by a 9. You never know.
Yeah.
Who knows? You know, it's funny. When I was in 1988, remember, I think it was the summer.
1988, good year.
I was going into 4th grade. We took a transcontinental rail trip across that went from Toronto all the way over to like Edmonton. I think was as far west as it went. Really something. Then the train went out of business. I don't know if anyone knows what I'm talking about out there. It was kind of a miserable trip in terms of the air conditioning wasn't working. There were train malfunctions. They actually ended up flying us back from Winnipeg on the way back because the train was just, dilapidated. But it was a nice trip, though.
Was it the last trip on the train?
It pretty much was, yeah. Pocket Queens here for seat 5 on the button.
And did he raise? I didn't see a raise there.
Yeah, wow, he did
Limped
raise.
around on the
9,
button,
4, 3.
queens.
Now he's going to bet with the overpair. I mean, you got to put some money in there, right? Raise for value on the button.
Yeah, there's no question. You got to raise out of the button.
Yeah.
I mean, I can safely say in an unraised pot, I will raise 100% of the time with queens on the button.
Seat 9 calls with ace 3. The board is 9, 4, 3. The turn's a king.
Well, it doesn't really scare you. You got to keep betting if you're queens here. And sure enough, Craig is.
Well, it gets checked to him here, and he bets. And Tommy's going to fold the ace 3.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I've actually, I did a similar trip and spent some time in Banff and Vancouver and Edmonton.
Did you take a rail trip, like across like the
No, I used to
prairie
play-
provinces?
No, I actually, I used to play hockey a lot, and I used to go up there and play some hockey.
Oh, yeah.
And, but we did a couple of summer trips. And I remember actually going whitewater rafting near Banff. I want to say Jasper, actually. It was.
I
Jasper
remember going
National
up
Park.
to the West Edmonton Mall back at that time, which was the biggest mall in the world at that time.
That's what you remember. You went on this great trip to see all these wonderful wilderness, and you remember a mall?
Don't you remember the Mall of America when you go up to Minnesota? Or hey, how about Carousel in Syracuse? You remember Carousel, don't you?
I do, but I mean, it's
Buttons over here in seat 8.
like you said, you don't go outside too much, huh?
They're going to chop this one up.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm real excited. A little snowboarding getaway to Whistler.
Well, you know, it was funny. We went up in a bus. It was one of the craziest things. We went up this national park in someplace in the Edmonton-Calgary province, which is, why is it coming to my head? The province that Edmonton and Calgary are in.
Alberta?
My goodness, Alberta. Yeah. And we were going up above the tree line in this bus, a tour bus. And
By the
guy
way,
was
be careful.
backing up and moving. That's how he had to get through the road. You know, to get down the mountain, he was backing up and then moving forward and then backing up and then going forward. It was pretty intense. This one
And
gets
they chopped it up again here. Michael actually had ace king.
Yeah.
You know, be careful. Alberta, actually, they found, I want to say, 3rd or 4th case of mad cow disease in Alberta.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm not too concerned.
Next time you go to have a steak or a hamburger, make sure, hey, is this Alberta?
No, those are the types of things that ruin mass hysteria, types of things that just there's no need to be. I mean, you can walk outside and get hit by a car, too, you know.
Yes, you
You drive in a car, that's certainly more dangerous. Button's over here in seat 1.
Button is in seat 1, right, you said?
Again, we're playing 6-12 Hold'em. 8-10 offsuit here for seat 8. Ace-10 of diamonds in seat 9. He's just going to limp in the cutoff, Dave.
Wow. I mean, and nobody's in the pot already.
Right.
How do you not raise that?
Button's
Take
in the
control of
hand.
the pot.
Can't see seat 1's cards. Small blind completes and the big blind checks.
Man.
5-6 of clubs for the button. So he's got a flush draw there. King, 8
And this is
deuce.
exactly why now if Tommy had raised it,
Yeah.
there's a good chance everybody else has missed this flop pretty
Right.
much. I mean, Michael's got second pair, but you can probably get Michael off second pair if you were the pre-flop raiser. And now with ace-10 of diamonds, you're just going to throw it away.
Well, look at this. Michael is going to overcall with queen 8. Wow.
And Tommy's going to call now.
Yeah. Ace
So
10
he
of diamonds.
plays it passive, and then he just calls.
Turns a club, and there's the flush for Ron. That might make Michael continue to stay in there. He's got the second nut club draw. And these are the types of things where you chase and you chase and you chase and you spew and you spew and you spew, right?
Yeah, now, well, he bet the flop and got called.
Actually, he check called the flop.
Yeah, okay, I thought he
Yeah,
bet it.
No. He check overcalled. He's going to call the turn now. He needs to spike a club here. And the river's an 8, and he's got trip 8s. He checks, and he's probably going to pay off.
Yeah,
now.
that'll probably get a nice value bet by
Yeah,
Ron
of
here.
course. And the flush is going to take it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, if Michael had bet that flop and gotten called, and then the turn came out, and you can go, okay, well, I wouldn't actually fault that at that.
Well, you know, Tommy, if he had brought that in for a pre-flop raise, depending on how tight the player in seat 1 is, you usually get a fold from 5-6 of clubs, and Michael's not going to come in with queen 8. He would have won himself the pot.
Yeah.
Instead, like you said, he limped in with the hand and then just took one off. For
Yeah,
no
he
reason
might have
on
only
the
gotten
flop.
called by the big blind, which was actually ace-7.
Right.
Yeah, limping in when nobody else, when you're the first person in
Yeah.
the pot, limping in the cutoff seat, something I rarely do.
Right.
And Michael's been spending a lot of time. Michael's going to raise here with pocket threes on the button.
Yep.
And he's going to take it down. Uses a tight image. Nice bet there. Definitely not a hand you want to limp in with.
Michael spends a lot of time watching the archives, right?
Yeah,
Big fan of the
he
show.
does.
Wants to improve his game.
Well,
I don't know how long he's been playing poker for. I'm not exactly sure.
I know he spends a lot of time playing no limit.
Uh-huh.
And the other day when I actually told him, hey, I like the way you played. I thought you misplayed this hand. He was like, oh, good.
Right.
He really, really yearns to improve his game. Like all of us, hey. I wish somebody was actually watching my game all the time and telling me what I did wrong and right.
Limp here?
And it's limped around here.
Yep. Three-way action.
Yeah.
Lots of kings and jacks out here, so the flop misses everyone here. Queen 3-3. C5's going to come out and bet here with king 10 from early position. It looks like he's going to take it down. Oftentimes when the board comes paired, Dave, it misses everyone. Now look at that. See, George is called with King Jack, which sometimes you can't give somebody credit for why they call the flop, right? The turn's a 6. And Craig's going to continue betting.
Well, sometimes we've noticed this in Limit Hold'em that oftentimes people will take one off with anything. Anything.
Right.
I mean, you look at a board like that. It's Queen 3-3 Rainbow. If I bet the flop and somebody calls, I got to look at them and go, well, they must have a queen or a 3, don't they?
Right.
They must have it. Or a pocket pair.
Email here from Darren Teal. Again, you can email us at live@thebike.com. What's the biggest pot you've ever seen on the show? Love the show, thanks. Well, I think it would probably have been, we had a couple whale pots that were over 25,000. And Dave, I kept anyone who's got a subscription to the archives, again, you can go to sign up for the archives by going to the on-demand banner at the upper left-hand corner of your screen, flashing with the
how much is
archive
it?
banner.
Still.
And it's only $14.95 a month. It gets
Still.
you access to all of the saved shows. If you take a look at that 400, 800 limit game, boy, they
That's
were
that August 24th?
yeah, there were some insane pots. Yeah, I think it
That
was
was
a $27,000 pot.
I know Tim Fan was involved in a big pot in
Right.
that game with Jerry Buss and Yoshi Nakano. And Yoshi Nakano took down at, like, what, about 27,000, you say?
Yeah. Bet here by George with King 8. He's got bottom pair. And seat 7's going to call Masood. I don't know what really... Oh, he's got a gut shot to the jack, and he hits it, Dave. Unbelievable. A red 9-5 of hearts, and he's going to check raise. I mean, that is unbelievable.
Yeah.
But, you know, George is open-ended here. I mean, he could catch a 9 or an ace, and he would win, and he's going to make the call.
Once again, you see Masood raising on the turn
Right.
with a made hand.
And here we go to the river. And the river's a third spade. Masood's going to bet here. And George can't call this, can he? But he's going to make the call. He's going to make the call. Unbelievable with King 8. And Masood's going to take it down with the straight.
Hey, why not value bet? It's great.
Yeah.
I know there's a big pot, another big pot, actually, between Kenneth James and Barry Woods.
That's right.
That was probably in excess of $23,000, $24,000 also.
Right.
We got a number of them, though. Number of big pots. One thing kind of cool, guys. LA Poker Scene. We are having a $500,000 free roll, folks. LA Poker Scene. You go to liveatthebike.com. On the right-hand side, you can click on LA Poker Scene. And there's a $500,000 guaranteed prize pool tournament running. It's actually going to be on October 1st. But you can get, for signing up, you get 3 gold bars. You get another 5 gold bars for making your first deposit using the bonus code of 5X500K. Once again, that's 5X500K, so 8 gold bars total, which will get you into a Stage 1 tournament. And once you win a Stage 1 tournament, you are automatically in Stage 2, which is the free roll.
Seat 1 here has raised. He's got pocket 9s. And we're going to see a couple of callers. So we get three-way action. 6 small bets here. Ron's got 9s, and he hits an overpair. Now is George going to get himself in trouble? And Masood's got the nut flush draw on the button. Ron's going to bet here with the 9s. Masood is going to raise with his 1 over card and flush draw.
Now, obviously, in this case here, he's in late position. He's raising, and he might
George
get himself
calls.
a free card.
And Ron calls.
It's a classic spot where generally in limit hold'em you would check, and Masood would check behind you if he misses.
Well, turns an ace. Now he's got top pair. So you're probably going to bet here.
I'd imagine he would.
And he is going to bet.
Yeah.
And George is going to continue to call, which what was top pair, even though he's in third place here.
Yeah,
George
he's in-
needs a 7 to win. Ron needs a 9 to win. And the river's an 8, and that's no good. And Masood does not bet the end. It gets checked down. But the ace is good. And maybe he figured that, you know, the guy might have had an ace with a bigger kicker. I sometimes might value bet that anyways, but who knows?
Yeah, I mean, the way the hand was played out, since you have the flush draw, it's hard to put somebody else on an ace.
Right.
Or a flush draw.
Right.
You know, you've almost got to put them on a pair. Something
Right.
like 9s or jacks or 10s.
Seat number 1, that's Ron. We want to say hello to his brother Monty in New York. I don't know if that's upstate New York, downstate New York.
Well, a name like Monty, it's got to be upstate.
Really?
It's got to be upstate. Come on.
Of course, Dave Tuckman grew up in upstate New York. I went to college in upstate New York. A lot of upstate New York represented.
Yeah. Good place, man.
Anybody know about Carrier Air Conditioning? It's just about, a huge contribution from Syracuse, New York. Carrier.
Hey, this is funny. Some of the things you say. You just pull it out from upstate, from Syracuse.
Speedy sauce?
What's going on with Syracuse basketball? Man, they suck this year.
Really?
Terrible. We lost our 6th game of the year already. It's not even out of January. They're 15-6 now.
Limped around here 5 ways.
I mean, they might not make the tournament the way they're playing.
8-6-3 with a couple of diamonds. We get a set of threes over here by seat 4. Let's see how he's going to play it. He's going to bet right into the set. Why not jam it?
And he might not get any action.
Yeah, unfortunately for him.
And this is one of the things you've got to be aware of. Some people go, well, I'll get huge implied odds with my set, right? But you might not get paid off because if nobody else hits anything.
Well, Tommy's going to call. He's got overcards and a gut shot to the 7.
Okay.
So here we
You
go.
get called, it's not like you're getting called in 6 spots.
Turns a king. Well, Jacob should continue to bet here, and he is going to continue to bet.
You imagine Tommy's going to lay us down here.
And again, people always think, well, damn, I bet on my set last time, didn't get any callers. I'm going to slow play it next time. Well, that's
Right.
not really how you should think.
Right. The only reason I bring it up is sometimes people go, well, there's huge implied odds there. Not always in limit hold'em.
No.
And actually not always in no limit
Not
hold'em.
always a no limit hold'em either. You have to figure, again, the player that you're playing against. Also, the fact that they could easily be raising with high cards, and you might flop a set, but it doesn't hit them.
Exactly. I mean, not only do you have to have a great hand, but your opponent has to have a good enough second best hand to pay you off.
Right.
Button is in seat 9.
Professor Mike says here on 2+2, how can Masood play at the bike if he's a dealer there? Well, they allow dealers to play here.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's different in some Vegas.
As long as they're out of their uniform.
Yeah. Yeah, they encourage it. And then Stern Rule says dealers play all the time, some of the worst players out there. Well, for the most part. Like Scott Fishman used to be a dealer. Lane
Right.
Flack used to be a dealer. There you go,
Right. Well, most of the dealers, and this is not across the board, but most
Right.
of the dealers that are still dealing and play on their own time, as they get better,
Right.
they become just players.
Right, exactly. Yeah. 4-way action here. Queen 5-7. Pocket 8s looks to be good over there in seat number 1.
Only one overcard. This is one of those tough times to play 8s.
John had raised preflop with ace-jack, but he's going to make the continuation bet here. Queen 5-7. Ron's going to check call here with 8s, and we're heads up. Turns a 10. Well, Ron's got more outs now. It goes check, check, and the river's a 10.
And obviously his hand was the best already. He didn't even need any outs.
Now, the other thing sometimes I'll do, we talk about betting mediocre hands. When somebody checks behind me on the turn, I might be more likely to bet one pair on the river. Because some guys will just call you off with ace-jack. Oh, there's
Ron
gonna
says
wave to
hi.
his family there.
Well, you think maybe you can get paid off by a 7. Would this guy check a queen? It's not likely the guy would check top pair on a turn. So you go, okay, this guy's either got top overcards, or maybe, hey, he's got ace-7 or even 8-7. Maybe I can get paid off. Button is in seat 1 now. Small blind is Vincent in seat 2. The big blind is Michael. And Jake is first act. He's under the gun. And seat 6 is going to raise it up here. And he's got ace-jack again. Hey, ace-jack didn't work this time, but try again, That's what Mama always said. If at first you fail, try again. And he gets called in 3 spots. And this time's a little better flop for him. Flop is ace-queen-jack. He flops top and bottom pair. And Tommy's got a second pair, backdoor flush draw, and a gut shot straight draw. And he's going to stay in there. And the turn is the ace of clubs. And wow, if the king of clubs were to come out here, we would have a jackpot. Nope, it doesn't come. For just a little bit of a second there, I got excited. There actually was a chance for a jackpot there. If the king of clubs comes, Tommy has the royal flush. And John would have lost with aces full to 4 of a kind or better. And our jackpot right now, I want to say, is close to probably over $30,000. Button is in seat 2 now. And first to act will be seat 5. That's Craig. Couple of limpers in here. And looks like it's just going around here. And we get limped around, 5-way action. $30 pot, folks. Flop is 9-5-3. And nobody has a 9, nobody has a 5, nobody has, actually, I'm sorry, Michael there, seat 3, but I don't think he's actually in the pot. And I want to say the best hand right now is still seat 5 with pocket 4s. Now it's two-handed here. The turn is a jack, and pocket 4s are still good in seat 5. There we go. And the river is a 5. That changes nothing, and Craig is still good here. Ron picked up a gut shot on the turn there, but did not have a diamond in his hand. And it checks, and Ron is going to try to take a shot at this one. See if he can win it. See if he can get Craig off those 4s.
Sometimes this becomes a point where you look at the pot odds and you say, how many times could this guy possibly be bluffing here
now
with
Ron,
relations to the pot?
Yeah, Ron bet the flop, and Ron waves again. Craig actually bet the flop and got called by Ron, and he got called again, and then they both checked down the turn. So you kind of induced that bluff. But then again, what could you beat if this guy called me down? Now, this is a game that I played a long time ago. I mean, this is one of the games I first jumped up to. I always liked that 3-6 structure.
And you still like the 3-6 structure
I do.
better, right?
I
Why,
mean,
because you think it's less wild?
I don't know. No, I mean, maybe it's easier for me to handle the chips. I have no
You
idea.
know, there are different games for different folks. I actually don't necessarily mind wild games all that much. But you've got to be pretty emotionally stable to take the swings.
Yeah, I mean, I started playing 3-6, and then I jumped right up to 6-12, and then I played 9-18, and then I played 15-30, and I actually like 30-60 right now.
This one's going to get chopped up here.
Although I will say, I mean, I do like the 81-60 game better than the 61-20 game. Don't ask me why.
Yeah, there you go. Email here from Sandy Peatley. Sent us a nice email saying she enjoys Live at the Bike. Dave, I want to say hi to my friend out there, Jackie, who's watching the show.
Jackie?
Hi, Jackie.
Cool. Hey, Jackie. Pocket aces here for
Yeah.
seat 6.
Pocket aces for seat 6. And that is a new player. Buttons over there in seat 4 has got King Jack. That's Sean over there in seat 6. John in seat 6. And Michael, SP Surf and Michael actually has got the King Jack. He's going to raise. Well, he's going to try to drive this hand. Not a bad spot right here from the cutoff.
Hey, in the cutoff, why not? You know, he doesn't know John has aces.
Now look at Jacob. He folded the ace-10 of hearts. Boy, really tight player over there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good laydown.
Absolutely. And a 3-bet here by John with aces, and here we go. We've got 3-way action here. John's the 3-better out of the big blind, and 6-5 deuce. He's got the ace of spades in his hand as well.
Yeah, he's in good shape
Great
here.
flop, overpair, nut flush draw.
Now, George has got top pair. Is he going to get stubborn here? He called 3 bets cold, by the way.
Michael's got the jack of spades draw, and he's going to call. Well, here we go to the turn. Turns a deuce. John's got to love this. He's going to bet again. George is going to call again.
Yeah, and George is in really bad shape. George needs a 6 and only a 6. A 10 would not do it, folks.
Yes.
Michael's going to lay his hand down.
And he's going to bet blind here on the river. And the river's a 4.
And you imagine George is probably going to pay off.
Yeah.
Oh, George is all in.
George is all in. Yeah, John's going to take it down there.
Yep.
Aces with the ace of spades. Can't get much better than that.
No.
What kills you sometimes is, you've got a multi-way pot in a wild game. Somebody sticks around and spikes the offsuit 4 on the river there and beats you.
Right, oh.
Or hits a deuce on the turn. You bet you get raised on the turn. You got to be kidding me. Well, now you start thinking, well, if a spade comes, it might be good. Or if an ace comes, it might be good. So,
yeah.
I've got all these outs. And
you can't go anywhere, of
mistake
course.
begets mistake, and sometimes when the pot's so big, you've got aces, you check, the guy bets, and, you kind of...
And then you end up talking yourself into calling on the river as well. No, it happens, obviously. It's limit hold'em.
Happens. Yeah.
Now it's interesting when Michael actually raised with King Jack offsuit. Sometimes if a cutoff seat raises and I'm on the button with Ace 10, I don't necessarily give the cutoff seat credit for a real hand, and I will sometimes rebet then with Ace 10.
I think this one's going to get chopped up here. Oh, he's going to raise out of the small blind. He says he does not chop. Masood's got a weak ace. This guy's got ace king, and you know Masood's going to come in and play.
Now you
with
wonder
ace
here,
four.
is John say he doesn't chop, or is he just not chopping because he's got ace king?
Well, it's the first time it's happened, so he's got the right, I guess, to say I don't chop. Deuce 7-3, all diamonds. Now Masood's got the 4 of diamonds in his hand. It's the only diamond. John bets. Masood calls.
Yeah, Masood here needs a 4 or a diamond.
He's got a wheel draw as well. The rivers and the turns
Thank
in
you.
9.
Right, obviously a 4, a 5,
Yeah. Now
or
John,
a diamond.
John checks, and Masood's going to bet now. But John still has the best hand.
Yeah, I'm surprised John didn't bet the turn again. There.
I really don't know if Masood was going to go anywhere. And the Rabbit Cam
No,
shows,
I understand that, but
Rabbit Cam shows a jack of diamonds. Masood would have gotten there.
now George in Seed 8 has done a short buy, and here at the Bicycle Casino, you're allowed 1 short buy for every full buy.
Email here from RP9. Hi, guys. I enjoy the show. I've been listening to it for a while now. And last month I subscribed. I've been glued to my screen watching the show after show. I've also signed up for 2+2, but I'm having difficulty finding which forum follows the show. Well, if you go to 2+2, you click on forums. Now you're in the forum section. Go down to World Poker Tour and other televised tournaments. Doesn't really make a lot of sense, but that's where we are.
Yeah.
And then you'll find it in there. You also can do a general search on Live at the Bike, and that will help you as well. Seat 4 is going to bring this one in for a raise. He's got ace 9 of spades. And George is going to call with king 10 defending his blind.
Defend.
Here we go to the flop. Wow, nice flop here for Jacob. Overcards and the nut flush draw, 8-7 deuce. He's going to bet. Now is George going to continue to call here with overcards? He's got the king of spades in his hand. Yep. George folds. Jacob's going to take it down.
And another question here is, I'll be going to Vegas again in April, hopefully to play in the World Poker Tour Championship. Any suggestions on a good place to play inside games? And that actually really depends on what kind of game you are looking to play.
Well, actually, he's saying sit and goes.
Oh, thank you.
So,
Okay.
I don't necessarily know if any places. I know in California there aren't any places that just regularly put down sit and goes unless they have some sort of tournament series going on there at the time where they play satellites.
Right, now-
like the Bike isn't doing satellites.
Good
or
point.
anything
Good
right
point.
Now,
Now the World Poker Tour, if you're going down there for the World Poker Tour Championship, which is actually at the Bellagio, they will be doing sit and go satellites there.
Right. All the time, all the year, the whole year.
No, just during
Just
when
during-
the
okay.
tournament's going
Okay.
on.
Oh, I said he's
Right.
he's going to play in April. I see. Yeah.
But almost all those Vegas casinos now have daily tournaments too.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Which you can get in through satellites. I thought he was referring to side
I
games.
really enjoy satellites that aren't no limit satellites because everyone seems to know. There's a ton of people that play no limit satellites. Not necessarily they're saying that they play them well, but Party Poker and all those sites have tons and tons of satellites.
Right.
How about an Omaha high-low satellite or stud high-low satellite? Limit hold'em, which I still think.
How about a
is
mixed game freeze out?
which I still think is kind of a lost art. Limit hold'em tournaments are just the absolute bastard child of no limit hold'em now, aren't they?
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Another
take a
chip
look at
count
the chip
here.
count.
And obviously chip count is not that important in limit hold'em as
Yeah.
much as in no limit, where stack size really is huge. And Vincent up there in the lead, Craig in second place. George just bought in short.
Queen 10-9 here on the flop. Seat 5's got ace 10. It's the best hand right now. But Seat 8's going to bet here with 7-8. He's open-ended, but again, he doesn't really have the good straight here because a jack would give anybody an 8 or a king a straight. The turn's a 7, and the button's going to bet again here. Now, Michael, I don't exactly know. He had a gut shot to the jack on the flop. Again, I'm not exactly sure why he was in there on the flop. I mean, he's got a gut shot to the jack, and just like George, if a jack comes, you don't even know if you're good, and he's going to make the call here again with an 8. I know, again, Michael goes back there and looks at the archives, but this is not a good straight to chase. Craig overcalls with what is the best hand right now with ace-10, and the river here is a 6, and the 8s get there. They picked up open-ended straight draws on the turn, and now the 6 comes, and now Michael feels he can safely bet with the 8, but he was drawing to a chop. If you do the odds out in that hand, there was absolutely no way that he could have won that hand. He was drawing to a total chop. And I got to say, you know, even if a jack comes, would some of those guys bet with the 8? And he's going to chop it up. And they chop it up between George and Michael. Bud's going to move over there to seat 2. Again, you can email us at live@thebike.com. Follow a live thread that's started on the internet, 2plus2.com. You can watch this show and every show that we do on a 24-hour loop that starts an hour after the show and goes up all the way till 5 Pacific time the next day. But you cannot manipulate the show like you can if you're a subscriber to the archives. You can't fast forward, rewind, etc. It's just a constant stream. Another reason to subscribe to the archives. Button's over here in seat 3. Ace-King here. Seat number 7. And Masood's going to raise it up. Big slick offsuit. Standard raise here. Limit hold'em. Pretty much a raise or a re-raise hand. Pretty much from any position. Seat 1's going to call here with Queen 3 of clubs. And Michael's going to call with Queen Jack offsuit on the button. Seat 4's in there with Jack 10, and Seat 5's in there with a weak ace. So 5-way action, 10 small bets to the flop. 9-4-9 here on the flop. It misses everyone. Masood's going to bet. And this should really take it down here. There shouldn't be anybody that can call. And Masood is going to take it down there with what is the best hand. And there you go. New player coming into seat 9. That's Jennifer. I wonder if that's the Jennifer I'm thinking it is. Ooh. Little eye candy for all of us all. Seat 9, former commentator, live at the bike, B-team, whatever you want to call it. Jennifer Bankston, I guess she's going to come into seat 9. But moves over here to seat 4. Really sweet girl, Jennifer. Really sweet girl. Jennifer always tells me, and I want to bring this up, about how she goes to Vegas often, at least a couple times a month from LA. And she says the games in Vegas are so much easier, especially the no-limit games, than as they're going to chop this one up. Now, I guess seat 5 is he's going to complete it. Then in LA, because of the fact that there are so many tourists that are first starting to play no limit, and they don't have any opportunity to play anywhere. Well, seat 5 completed with King 7 of clubs. He picked up a club draw with an ace. He didn't bet. He checked it. And seat 6 bet with 10 high. He's got a pair of 10s. And the turn's a 7, so now Craig's got a club draw and a flush draw and a pair. A club draw, a pair. The river's a queen. And Craig just has bottom pair, and it just gets checked down. Boy, if I got King 7 of clubs and I complete there on that flop, I'm probably going to bet the flop. He checked. John bet with a pair of 10s. Craig called. Craig picked up the pair of 7s along with his flush draw on the turn. Check call. River missed. Check, check. John takes it down there with a pair of 10s. There you go.
I guess he's true to his word there. He doesn't chop, huh?
Well, I figured, well, guy in seat 5 knew. I mean, last time
Right.
he didn't chop, that he's going to play the hand, so.
I mean, and there can be some sort of an argument for not chopping,
There's
even in a
Jennifer.
game like this, because if you think the players next to you are not very good,
Right.
and you really think that there's a lot of money to be made there, well then, hey, why am I chopping?
Raise here by seat number 1. He's going to open with ace-jack offsuit. Well, you know, Jennifer, you talk about someone who plays a game tight. I mean, it would be surprised if we see her play. What do we got? About an hour and a half left in the show. I'll be surprised. We'll count the number of hands she plays, not in the blinds, Dave. You're gonna put the under over at in an hour and a half if she stays here. 5.
5. Okay.
And I'll take the under.
You'll take the over? Oh,
Yeah, I'll
under.
take the under.
Okay. Jen's hands. Okay,
Right.
I'll take the over.
Okay.
Let's see.
Button moves over here to John in seat 6. I was just saying as you were out briefly, Jennifer goes to Vegas often, 2 to 3 times a month. She talks about how easy the games are in Vegas compared to they are in LA, because normally you're going to see tourists there. No limit games and
Right.
such like that. I don't really have a reference point, but Ray's here with seat 2, a king, queen of diamonds, and seat number 8 is going to call with 3-6 of spades in the blind. Take it heads up.
Well, he's got a flush draw now.
Got a flush draw, but Vincent has top pair. And he's going to come out and bet here. And Vincent's going to raise. George is going to re-raise it. It looks like George is short. He's trying to get himself all in. And, you know, at this point with Vincent, there is no cap. You might just jam it in to put the guy all in and hope you have
You're
the
not
best
going to go
hand.
anywhere here.
Yeah. And he does cap it. Or he doesn't cap it. There's no cap heads up. But it looks like George is all in.
He's got 2 chips left.
Turns a 5. Well, he picks up a straight draw now.
Yeah, he needs a 4 or a spade, folks.
Here we go. And the river's a 4, and he makes a
Wow.
backdoor straight. Straight with the flush draw.
Yeah, not the draw he was going for, but he'll take it.
Flush, yeah. You know, those aren't the I mean, often we'll talk about defending blinds. And there's been so much that's been written about defending blinds and limit hold'em, even recently. You have to take into account where the guy is who's raised, what position he's in.
Who's raising?
Who's raising? Can you outplay him? You know, if it's an early position raiser, do you really want to take like a suited connector heads up on the blind? You know, it doesn't look to me like it's necessarily like a positive expectation. Now, people will say, well, you're always getting 3.5 to 1, so if you're heads up, you can call with any 2 connecting cards. I don't really buy it.
Yeah, well, the problem is a mistake begets a mistake.
Right.
You know, you call with something like 6-3 of spades, right? When the
Yeah.
flop comes out, you know, queen, 6, deuce.
Right.
Well, where are you? How do you know if
Right.
they're good or not?
Right.
No, I'd be more apt to actually call a raise, defend my big blind from a player like Jen.
Right.
As crazy as it might seem, you know, you go, okay, well, Jen's probably got a big hand, though. Why would you defend her? But
Jen needs to show her cards.
at least I know where she's at, though.
Jen's in the hand.
What? Oh, the world is working.
She's got ace-5 of spades. She was in the big blind. And I said it wasn't counting the big blind.
No, I know,
And look
I
at this.
know,
She
I know.
checked the ace from up front. Ace, jack, 9. And Vincent's going to bet. I think that Vincent might have brought it in for a raise. So Jen has checked to him. He's bet.
Well, she did call. Does that count? Call the raise.
Come on, she's got ace-5 of spades in the big blind. George is going to call. George doesn't really have anything. And Jennifer's going to call here. She's got backdoor spades, and she has the best hand. Turns a 7. Now
Well.
George picks up some sort of draw.
It's got a straight draw. Don't knock it.
And Jen's going to come out and bet the turn. And look at this. Vincent's going to raise. Now, a lot of
Wow.
times, you know, Jen might have bet there to find out where she's at. She might fold now
Wow. And this is, I got to say, this is the first time somebody is raising.
without what is, you know, necessarily not the goods here, ace deuce.
Well, I mean, come on, ace deuce. I mean, he's not quite bluffing, but he certainly doesn't have the goods.
I think Jen put this bet out to see what Vincent was going to do. And now that he's raised, you know, Jen might fold here. I mean, wasn't that the purpose of the bet?
I would imagine it is. I mean, she's
Well,
got,
what do I know?
she's
calls.
got no redraw.
This is going to get chopped up, though, unless somebody hits their
Yeah.
kicker, right? River's a 3. And what? And look at this. Vincent bet the river, and Jen folded. So there you go.
Yeah, I don't understand. I understand. See, I like the bet on the turn by her. She doesn't want to give a free card.
Right.
In case this guy's got, like, you know, king, queen or something like that.
Right.
Or even queen 10.
But if you're going to call the raise, what do you? Maybe she was just trying to hit 2 pair. Do you have odds there to call 1 extra bet for a 3-outer?
Three-outer?
Probably
No.
not.
There's no way.
Yeah.
I mean, you
Yeah.
gotta think about it. You go, okay, well, you know, maybe she's got to be getting like what, 13 to 1, 14 to 1 on her money.
Yeah.
14 to 1 on her money to make that. I mean, definitely she's not getting that much. The pot wasn't that
Yeah.
big.
That whole order of things didn't make sense. She got the same hand again in the small blind. And again, Jen was in the blind that hand, so that hand doesn't count. Pocket queens here by seat 6. He's going to raise.
I said 5. Well, if she plays it like that, I mean, she might be tilting soon, and she might give away.
Well, this is funny, though, because I don't like to get involved with hands that she's getting involved with now. She's got the same hand, and she's made a cold call in the small blind with ace-5 of spades. 9-4-7 here. John's good here with the overpair.
Yeah, and this, wow, Masood's going to raise it up with second pair.
Bet and a raise.
Wow, I mean, well, I guess if you put the guy in ace-king.
John calls. Here we go to the turn. Turns a 7. And the funny thing is, John check raises. Is he going to check? No, let's see what he's going to do here. No, he just called. Wow, pretty passive from queens. And the river's a 4.
You almost still have to call if you put the guy on a 9.
You hope that he has a 9.
Yeah. You can't put him on
How do you just, I mean, if you're John there, you bet with the flop. Masood raises you. You call, and now the turn. Maybe he thought that Masood might have had a 7 there, and he just wanted to check call mode.
I guess so. I mean, you wonder if like a deuce or a jack or something like that came off.
Yeah.
Would he raise? I don't know. So does that count? She's in the small blind. She called the raise.
No, she's in the blind.
Okay, everything's got to be out of the blind. Jeez.
Well, come on.
Okay.
David Stanfield here, email, Loop question. He says, does the loop work over the weekend? And, yeah, it does, because I watched it over
Does
the
it?
weekend.
All the way through the weekend?
I think it does. It plays through Saturday. Okay.
Yeah, Sunday's off. Everybody's off on Sunday. Come on. Our loop needs some time off. Queen Jack here for seat 2.
Well, look, Jennifer's got 8-10 off suit. She's going to fold on the button, and they're going to chop it up.
She didn't try to steal it?
You know, I don't necessarily mind not stealing with a guy who's going to
I'm
call
kidding,
you with any
I'm
two
kidding.
cards. No, I know you're kidding, but again, you got to look at the guy in the blind.
No,
It's just-
definitely.
Russ McGinley says, note to Michael when he reads this, stop calling raises with Queen Jack off suit, which he did earlier a couple hands ago.
Now, if I'm in a big blind with Queen Jack offsuit and I get 2 or 3 other players in there, sometimes I'll call that. I'll throw in,
Right.
one bet if I'm already in for one bet. But I'm not going to call a raise.
Well, the funny thing is, oftentimes with those high off-suited cards in multi-way action, I don't even like to call the big blind. People say you've got tons of odds, but it's so difficult to play those hands that are easily dominated.
Well, if you have Queen Jack offsuit, you're not looking for a Jack or a Queen. You're looking to hit some sort of a straight or an open-ended.
Well,
or
a couple limpers here, and Jennifer's going to raise in the cutoff. She's got King Queen offsuit. Yeah, chalk it up, Dave. Unfortunately for her, well, Masood's got the best hand here with Ace Jack. She's dominating Craig in seat 5, and here we go to the flop.
Oh,
two
wow.
pair, but she flops this nut straight, and let's see if she plays it hard, because Masood's going to think that he's going to slow. Oh, he comes out and bets. He bets with Ace Jack. Let's see what Jennifer's going to do with King
and
Queen.
it's a rainbow board. I really like to see a bet here, and she's going to raise it up.
She's going to raise. And Craig's got King 10. He's got a pair, gut shot, straight draw, backdoor flush draw.
Now, if you're Masood, do you 3-bet it here and then maybe just call if you're Jennifer?
Yeah, I would. If Masood 3-bets me here, I call, and if the board comes non-paired, I raise the turn easily. Yeah, he's going to 3-bet. Let's see if. No, Jennifer's just going to jam it. She's going to make it 4-bets.
Hey, sometimes that's the best way to get the money in the pot.
Yeah.
You never know.
Here we go to the turn.
You got to understand, he might check raise her on the turn.
Turns an 8. No, he's just going to check call. Here we go to the river. River's a 7. I think she just told him that 2-pair was no good, and he's going to bet. But he's going to call him. He's going to call her anyways.
Hey, in limit hold'em, I can't blame him for
Right.
that. You know.
Yeah.
And Jen takes it down.
Why haven't we had Jen back in the booth here? Why hasn't she been sitting next to me sometimes in these nights instead of you?
Am I supposed to answer that?
She's just such a cutie.
Why don't we just get Nicole and Jen in here, and you and I can go out there and play?
That's right. Button moves over here to seat 2.
After I said that, I'm sure we get a collective cheer on
Right,
2+2 from our viewers. Yeah! More of Nicole and Jen. I hope the viewers at home realize that they're not going to be here actually, making love.
Right,
They're actually
making
talking
out
about
in
poker.
the booth.
Right, exactly. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
You guys? I know that's your fantasy. Nicole sitting here, kissing Jen while they're talking about button and stuff like that.
Right.
Or manure. I don't even know.
Limped around here.
Isn't that every guy's fantasy?
4 or 5-way action here. Ace, Jack, 6 with a couple diamonds. Well, Michael's got top here. He's going to bet, but George has got him out kicked over there in seat 8. And this is a hard hand to play out of position when you get raised on the flop. And
You get
George is
raised,
just going to call.
Sometimes it's even harder if you don't get raised. Michael's in bad shape here. I mean, he's
Turns
heads
a
up,
9.
and you know George's 10 is going to play in this hand.
Michael bets again, and George calls again. See how the river goes here. River is a 6, but they're going to chop it up.
Yeah, that
He's gonna
saved him
bet.
there.
Yep. Jack is going to play here. Aces and 6 with the Jack kicker.
Yeah, that's a lucky 6 there for Michael.
Yep. I mean, would you bet one final time on the river there with ace-5? If it, say, came blank?
Man, I don't know. It depends on the player you're playing against. You might against George because George's been
Might
paying
be
off with
paying
you know,
off with the Jack or something like
yeah,
that.
I mean, you might. It's kind of strange because George has been showing
sometimes-
strength with nothing and then calling with an ace.
Sometimes twofold checking, though. Checking might make a guy who's on a busted flush draw might bet.
Right, you're
as well,
inducing a
so-
bluff by.
You never know. It's an interesting
There's definitely a
question.
way to go about it, though.
Yeah.
Definitely another way to play it. Once again, we are live at the bike, folks. I'm David Tuckman here with Bart Hansen. You can catch us every Monday through Friday from 7 to 10 p.m. We do live cash games here, folks. Tonight's limit night. The rest of the week will probably be no limit hold'em. Wednesday's our big game. We have a 25-50 blinds, no limit hold'em game.
$3,000 minimum. Pocket queens here again. This time for seat 6. Boy, John's been getting a lot of big hands. And he's gonna pop it
He's
up.
gotten queens like 4 times.
Pocket 9s over there for seat 4.
And 5s.
Wow, Jen's going to 3-bet with pocket 5. She's had enough of this.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's a pretty easy fold from a guy in early position for me, but she chooses
Well-
to 3-bet it.
Well, it's either a raise or a fold for
Right,
me. I mean, it's
right.
certainly not a call.
Right. No,
Now,
definitely not a
This
call.
is now if he happens to have ace queen or ace king, you know, she takes control of the pot.
And seat 4 instantly mucks pocket 9s in the small blind for 3 bets.
Yeah, and in this case, all she did was protect his hand.
Here we go to the flop. Well, Jack 10-10. No way queens are going anywhere. And John's going to check raise her, I
Yeah.
believe.
Actually, no, he bet straight out.
Oh, he bet straight out. It looked like he put too many
He
chips.
tried to put, yeah. Well, she's going to
And
raise
she's
him.
going to raise. Maybe she thinks that he's got ace-king.
Wow.
He calls.
Wait, Brian. You put one too many.
And she's in real bad shape here.
Yeah.
Turn is a king. Now she can't beat anything.
Hey, but then that's certainly not going to. John's now open-ended.
Check here. She takes a card, and the river's a 10.
Can you imagine? Is John going to bet this? If I'm John, you got to bet this, don't
Yeah,
you?
with queens. You'd have to. But
Yeah, yeah.
Jen's not stupid. There's nothing that she can beat.
Oh, Jennifer's not going to call you. I mean,
Right.
unless you want to check to induce a bluff. But
Oh, he checked, and she checked right behind him. I mean,
yeah,
when she checked on the king, and when she checked, obviously, on the turn with 3 10s out there, or with 2 10s out there, you know that he's got the best hand with queens, right?
yeah. I mean, you almost hope you got to look at. Remember, she raised the flop, right? Jack 10-10. You have queens. Now she checked the kings. You got to go. Okay, she probably doesn't have aces, obviously.
Right.
She doesn't have kings,
Or
obviously.
ace-king.
Maybe
most
she's
likely.
got a jack, like ace jack or something like
Right.
that. In that case, hey, maybe she'll pay me off.
Going back to you anyway, but I saw you put
She kind of played it like she had 9s to her 8s, didn't she?
Yeah, she shut down there. Wasn't a great flop for her.
Raise it.
And she's going to raise here. Boy, I guess I was wrong. She's got Jack
What,
10.
what were we betting, by the
Jack-
way?
Jack 10, Dave, in third position. She's going to raise it up with offsuit cards. Vincent calls here with 6-4 diamonds. And look at this. SP Surf and Michael's going to call with 6-4 hearts.
Jen, tight my ass. I mean, she's playing every other hand. And-
Wow, and she's flopped top 2 pair.
Yeah.
Good for her.
Well, she's in great shape. Look at all the 4s are dead.
Yeah, I don't know if I was Michael if I'm calling Jen's raise with 6-4 suited there.
I don't call anybody's raise with 6-4 suited and limit hold'em. No limit hold'em? Sure, I'll call the raise. Actually, no limit hold'em. I'd love calling Jen's raise with 6-4 suited.
Absolutely. But suited connectors and limit hold'em. And boy, it's almost like a thing where 7 people come in and I get in cheaply maybe, but
Hey, so what was the bet here, by the way, for Jen over under 5 hands?
oh, we didn't establish that. It was a friendly bet.
Friendly bet. What's friendly? Friendly my ass. Come on, give me something. We're at 3 already for Jen.
Friendly bet. You know, bet. Just a bet.
Oh, just so I can say I won?
Yeah, there you go.
Just a bet of pride, huh?
Right.
Yeah, good. That's good. Can I put that in my wallet?
Limped around here in between the blinds.
3 players.
Three-way action. Little middle connecting cards here. Queen 8-7.
Well, nice flop for, actually, King 8-7 there, right? Yeah.
Got King 8-7. Well, George is open-ended in seat 8. Masood bets with 6-7. And John's got second pair.
Yeah. John's actually got the best hand right now, but I like George's hand.
Masood checks, turns a deuce. I think these guys just check it down or something. River's a jack, and 9-10 gets there.
Well, no, George's going to bet it. George gets there and bets it. Good for him. And is Masood going to pay him off with what amounts to fourth pair?
Busted flush draw, maybe? Well, he's not going to pay him off.
And George shows anyway.
Well, a lot of people, you know, feel proud of their made hands. And sometimes
Yeah, people love to show. People love to show their made hands, and people love to show their bluffs.
Right.
You can usually goad somebody into showing it.
Buttons moved over here to seat 6.
Have you ever tried the old, when a guy raises you, you show him your hand, and you're showing him what you're going to lay down to try to, like, entice him to show you what he's bluffing you with or raising you with? Occasionally it'll work. If you have any questions for us, comments, criticisms, or you just want to say hi, email us at live@thebike.com.
Ace-6-3 here.
Yeah, this is everybody.
George is going to bet. Doesn't have anything, but neither does Craig, and he should take it down. He does.
Take it down, George. Or in that pot.
So tomorrow we're most likely going to be doing, I think it's 300 to 500 no limit.
Yeah.
Which is a 5-5 blinded game. Button's going to move over here to seat 7.
You never know. Obviously, Bart and I get here sometime. Bart gets here about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock during the day, and I usually get here about 4:30. Never quite know what we're going to get.
No.
We're at the whim of our players sometimes. If you want to go to liveatthebike.com, on the left-hand side, there's Under the Gun, and that's my my little blog, and I wrote one about a week ago that's pretty new up there, so if you want to check it out and you haven't read it
Six-way
yet.
action here. Queen, Jack, Queen. And we got Queen 9 for Jennifer, and she's going to bet right into the trips.
There you go.
Now we got a King 10 who's open-ended over there in seat 6. And look at this. Michael's going to raise with pocket 9s. Now, if you're John, do you even want to get involved? And he doesn't. He folds the King 10.
And you know
Pretty
what?
impressed by John.
Yeah, it's a good laydown because
Yeah.
you've got to be scared. You know, remember,
Jennifer's
Jennifer,
going to 3-bet.
if somebody has a queen here,
Yeah.
and look, and Jen is getting the maximum money in there by putting in the money with the
You know,
queens.
if
and
I was Michael there, I fold. The turn's a 10.
how is he still in there?
Jennifer's going to bet. You know,
And now Michael's got a call here because now he's open-ended.
well, Michael raised the flop and Jennifer 3-bet. I fold at that point. But he's going to call here again. And like you said, mistake this begets mistake. But Jennifer's got the same open-ended. And the river's a 4.
Yeah.
She bets again.
And now Michael's got to lay it down.
Yep.
And I love the laydown there by John with the King 10. If a 9 had come, which obviously we see is very unlikely, but if a 9 actually comes,
Case
his
9.
hand is no good.
Right. Case 9.
He's drawing basically dead to just an ace. But once again, if you want to check out my blog, Under the Gun with David Tuckman, I try to keep it as up to date as possible. I think one in there for January 24th. I talk about a hand that I played in a no-limit game. Check it out. Go to liveatthebike.com. Let me know what you think of it.
Email here from EG. Dave and Bart, actually it would be a lot better if Nicole and Jennifer were on the table and you two were in the booth, because we see the players on the table and we never really see inside the booth with camera shots. And if they're making out, we can see them make out at the table.
He actually even says that he wants them to possibly be making out on the table.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I like that.
Three-way action here. Queen deuce 6, couple diamonds. Looks like we get a diamond draw over there for seat 2. Oh, no, he doesn't. Seat 8's going to bet.
George takes it down.
Bluff takes it down. A little bluff. Well, you can see that people are capable of bluffing in this game.
the bluffing's there. I mean, we're just talking about how many times do people bluff raising.
Right.
And so far, I want to say we have seen 7 raises on the river or turn, only one of which was actually a bluff. Now, we
Well,
saw
it wasn't really a bluff.
It wasn't a well. It turns out he was raising with the worst hand. I'll say that much.
I mean,
I don't think.
mediocrely the worst hand. It was a chop hand.
Yeah, I don't think he
Yeah.
knew he was bluffing, but at least it wasn't a monster. I'll put it that way.
And he bet the river, and then Jennifer realized, well, she said, what? My hand must not be good if you bet the river and raise the turn.
Yeah,
Raise here by Jennifer with King Jack on the button.
but obviously his raise was just to protect his half the pot. I mean, he was already getting half the pot no matter what.
King 6-7 here.
You have a set of sevens?
Another
And
pot for Jennifer.
Vincent's going to come out and bet here. And I believe Craig raised with No, Craig called and Jennifer raised.
Yeah.
So Craig called with Ace Jack for some reason. Turns a 7, and Vincent's got trip 7s.
Now, I'd
and he
love to
bets again. Usually a lot of people will check raise. Let's see what Jennifer's going to do.
Now, is she going to raise this again, or will she just call now?
She just calls. The river here's an 8.
Imagine he's going to bet again, and Jennifer will probably pay him off.
There it is.
Yeah, a little bad beat there, obviously, on the turn.
Well, a lot of people, one of these times, a lot of people, even especially at the lower limit, will go for the check raise there on the turn. I might, especially if there are other people in the hand.
Yeah.
Now, in that case, it was just heads up. I might definitely raise with King Jack if somebody bets into me. And then you kind of say, well, if you get 3-bet by somebody,
You can
then
lay it
you
down.
can safely throw your hand away.
Well, and obviously you're raising on the turn to probably take a free showdown
Yeah.
on the river.
I do that a lot, especially when there's, say, at least 3 people in the hand. And for some reason, there's 2 spades out there and a second club comes out there on the turn. And a guy bets into me and I still have top pair. I'm still going to raise.
Yeah. Now, I don't mind the bet there by Vincent. With 2 diamonds out there, he doesn't want to check. And if just by chance she was raising with a diamond draw, well, now she's going to take the free card.
Right.
And he misses a bet.
Raise here by Masood. He's got King Jack of diamonds. We have it as King Queen.
A big difference, too, obviously.
Yeah, and Jacob and Masood both have hit top pair. Jacob's going to bet.
Yeah, this is kicker problems and no limit.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, no limit. Any hold'em. It's a kicker game, folks.
Masood raises, and Jacob just calls. So King Jack against Ace Jack here. Turns a king, and Masood makes kings up.
Yeah.
And it goes check, check, and the river's a 7. Masood just checked it down. Unbelievable.
How do you check that down?
I don't understand that at all. King on the turn. Wow.
Yeah, wow. Now that was really interesting. Masood there, both players flop top pair, one with the king kicker, one with the ace kicker. You get lucky enough to hit your kicker, and you don't get paid for it. Amazing.
That is amazing.
Just for the record, got about an hour left in the show, and Jed has already played 4 hands.
It looks like you're going to win the friendly bet.
Lie.
Button moves over here to seat 3.
My mom will be so proud. I'm going to call her and tell her about it.
Ace Queen of diamonds here for seat 5.
Our friend from Duke.
Let's see if he raises here. He's out of position. A lot of times, though, in a small stakes game, you might raise here for value. Ace Queen suited, and he is going to raise.
Yeah, I like that race. With that many callers, why not? Get more money in the pot.
Yeah.
Makes
Now,
it
remember,
ba-
people are going to be very, very apt to chase you with any part of the flop that they hit.
And it makes it easier for you to chase your flush draws, too.
7-way action here. Here comes the flop. Jack, 7-8. Now, if you're going to raise out of the blind with Ace Queen of diamonds, I think sometimes you might check some hands that totally miss you here, Dave. He's going to throw a bet out
I
here,
can't
though.
agree more.
Seat 6 calls.
I mean, you've really got no hands here. You've got no draw.
Yeah.
You're raising for value. You're not raising to necessarily take the pot away. You've got to realize that if you miss the flop, get away from it.
Now, John just called the flop here. How about if a low blank card comes on the turn? Do you raise here if the guy bets into you with Jack 10? No, he's just going to call.
I don't think you can because the guy could easily have kings or aces. But
Well, you might raise and then, like you say, check
the free showdown?
check in a showdown on the river.
okay,
But
not a bad play.
and he might have gotten like George out. And the river's a 10, and 2 people have made 2 pair, but it's a one-liner there to a straight. Anyone with a 9 would have a straight. Check, and John's going to bet here with Jack 10. George is probably going to call.
Yeah,
and
he's
Ace
just
Queen
gonna
is
call.
going to fold, I'm sure.
I understand what you're saying. Actually, that's not a bad play to raise the turn there.
Yeah, it's sometimes one
Get
of
the
those
free,
types.
get the free showdown.
Well, you want to keep those pots small on the flop because if you raise the flop, twofold thing is this one's going to get chopped up. Not only are people going to call the double-sized small bet, but the guy in seat 5 is going to check to you, and you're only going to be able to put one big bet in on the turn.
Now, this is the question, though. Let's say you raise when the 5 of clubs comes out there.
Yeah.
And sure enough, you get called by George. And you get called, or even ace-queen lays it down. It doesn't really make a difference. When the 10 of clubs comes off, can you bet the river when you make it 2-pair?
I mean, you might just check call.
Yeah.
Who knows? But the point is that, I mean, that's a case where you might do that. Now, again, ace-queen of diamonds, nothing wrong with raising out of that hand. But again, by automatically betting the flop that totally misses you, you're not going to get any information. And he continued to bet the turn. I mean, there's something to be said about post-flop aggressive play, but at this level, like you said, you just can't jam it and run
You
over
get
the
5
table.
or 6 callers. The flop
Yeah.
comes out jack 8-7 with 1 diamond. You have,
Right.
you have nothing.
Right.
Get rid of it.
Pocket jacks over here for Vincent in seat 2.
Jen gets rid of ace-rag pretty quickly.
Vincent's going to raise it
You'll
up.
see most solid players getting rid of ace-rag, not playing ace-6, ace-7, ace-4. And Vincent raises, and Michael smooth calls with king,
King 10 offsuit. Yeah, wow.
Yeah,
Again, 3 better fold. Here we go to the flop.
Nothing wrong with
8-7
getting-
deuce.
yeah, nothing wrong with getting rid of that hand here, and Vincent's got an overpair.
Well, now is John going to get involved here with second pair, king kicker? Now, in a raised pot, sometimes you can take one off here if you hit 2 pair or trips. But Michael calls with king 10.
I think if you're John, you got to take one off.
Yeah, he's going to call. And Masood calls. What did Michael call with? Turns a 9. Well, now he's open-ended.
And well, now Masood's got top pairs. He can get himself in trouble. Vincent still has the best hand here,
And
though.
look how mistake begets mistake. Michael's going to continue to chase here with the king 10.
Yeah. I mean, he is in there now for 6. I want to say 6 chips, 12 chips,
Yeah.
15 chips, where he shouldn't be in there for any chips.
Well, he should have folded pre-flop.
Yeah.
And the
And
river's
he
a
gets
6, and he gets there, and he's going to take the whole thing down.
Well, what do we know, huh? Is he going to raise this up now?
Well, look at this. Masood came out and bet. Vincent called, and you got to think Michael's going to raise. He just called.
What's he scared of? Jack 10?
Wow.
Specifically Jack 10. It's the only hand that can beat
Yeah,
him,
he
right?
just called the river.
Wow.
Again, I don't mean to go hard on Michael. He's going to come back and watch this, but misplayed probably pre-flop, on the flop, on the turn. Well, not on the turn, but then probably on the river.
Hey, once
right?
the turn comes out, obviously the pot is big enough he has to call.
Right. No, on the
Um,
turn you call, but on the river, I would think you'd want a value raise there, right? And
Yeah, well,
if you looked at Vincent, he threw his chips in disgust. You got to immediately put him on an overpair to your immediate right.
Yeah, well, the river just doesn't make any sense. Jack 10 was already there. The 6 didn't change anything.
Right.
So then you got to start thinking about it. Wait, Masood would check. He wouldn't check raise the turn with Jack 10? Just doesn't make any sense. It's more likely that he has a 10 also.
Right.
And if he does, hey, so be it.
Right.
Well, seat 4 here, Jake the Snake's got ace king of clubs.
Well, seat 1 brings it in with pocket 9s, and Jake the Snake's going to 3-bet.
Yeah, he's in the cutoff seat. And Masood is calling. with
3
ace-
bets cold with ace 10 out of position.
Yeah.
And George is in there with queen 6 of hearts, so we got 4-way action. Well, pocket 9s is going to call the extra.
Yeah, and they're
Yeah,
all
that.
in there for $18.
Yeah. 12 small bets, ace 6-10. Jacob's got top pair, but look at Masood. He's flopped top 2.
Yeah.
And he
oh.
checks it from up front.
Raise it.
And he's going to check raise here. Now, I like to play this the opposite. I'd bet
Exactly.
the flop.
The best
Get a call,
Yeah.
call, then get a raise. Then you can jam it.
best way to play that hand is you bet right into
Yeah.
the razor.
Yeah, Masood probably should have bet there. George is going to call 2 bets cold with middle pair.
And he's in really bad shape. Actually,
Re-raise.
And Jacob's going to 3-bet.
Cap it.
And Masood quickly caps it. Now, at this point, if you're Jacob, if you don't pick up a club on the turn, is it an easy fold on the turn for ace-king?
Yeah.
The amount of strength that Masood has shown?
I think it might be.
Oh, but he spikes 2 pair on the turn.
And,
And
if you're
Masood bet blind.
yeah, if
here.
you're Masood here, but now this is the thing with Jacob. Do you raise this, and if you get re-raised, you can almost. I mean, what do you?
He's just
How do you
gonna-
play this?
He's
here?
just going to call. I would have raised there because I would have probably put Masood on 2 pair. River's a 5.
You don't put him on a set of 6s?
No,
I, mean,
I don't
bet
think he
blind.
plays it that hard with a set of 6s.
Okay.
And it went check on the river. Wow.
I'll tell you one thing though. if the guy checks to me on the river,
You're gonna bet
there's
with
no
ace-king.
way I'm checking behind him.
Right.
No way.
You would
'Cause
bet
there's-
with ace-king.
Well, there's no way the guy's checking a set.
Right.
And he's not checking queen jack. I can beat everything else. Wow, really interesting. I mean, I don't mind just calling the turn. Look at 2+2. I'm checking out the 2+2 form. Do you see Barry's? B-Dub1 is Barry Woods, by the way, everybody. And do you see his avatar?
Is that your wife in the middle?
That is my wife with her aunt and my mother-in-law at my wedding. God.
SB Surfin's got pocket kings. He's going to raise here. Out of
Should I be
C3.
scared?
5 players.
Five-way action here. Whoa. 10-6 deuce here on the flop. Michael's going to bet here with the overpair. And C4 is going to raise here. Jacob with ace deuce. But Michael's got kings.
Better get out my tickets for that
Now
one.
Vincent's going to call. He's got Jack 9, and Michael's going to jam it. 3 bets.
Alright, I've got tickets. Free luck.
And Jacob calls, and Michael jammed it. Turns a 4. What is Vincent doing in the hand? Michael's going to bet again. See
What
if
do you mean?
Jacob's going to get rid of it now. And yeah, he's going to bet, and he's going to take it down. Dave, in my wallet, I have 2 tickets, Lucky Chance $1 Million tickets. They're doing the final drawing tonight.
Okay,
And Donna, our floor host,
how about you give me 1% if you win the money?
all right, I'll do 1%.
Okay, good.
1%.
Think I've got a shot?
Donna, our floor host, is going to tell me if I've won. She's going to come back and tell us what the numbers are. And then if I win, I have to run out there.
You get a table share? Oh, you actually have the hand winner. You
have-
could win $1 million.
No, hand winner is the second half. Hand winner, right?
So
Not
you can
hand
only
loser.
win. You can only win. I see. So you could win $250,000.
Right.
Okay, 1% of that. I'll take it.
C2, raise it.
Hey, don't pick on my blind.
Vincent is going to raise here with Queen Jack. Ace King of Diamonds over there for seed 8, George. Let's see if he 3-bet it.
I really should have asked for more than 1%.
3 bets.
Yep, 3 bets here. 3 bets for George. Ace King of Diamonds.
Gap it.
And we got a cap here by Vincent? Actually, by Ron with Queen 10. Caps with Queen 10.
Let's get some money and let's gamble, folks.
4-way action here.
Gamble, gamble,
And
gamble.
look at Michael SP Surfing in there with pocket 3s to 4 bets. King 9 deuce, couple hearts.
Yeah.
George is going to bet here with ace king. Ron calls. Vincent calls. And actually, Vincent raises with the gut shot. 3-bet here by seed 8 with ace king. He's got the best hand. SP Surfing Michael's out of there in seed 3.
Wow, and Ron does have the queen of hearts. He does have a back draw here. Seat 8 is still in there with ace king. There he is.
Big pot. Ace king's good right now. 8's on the turn.
Yeah.
All in, $4.
He's all in for $4, 2 chips.
Well, 2 chips you're certainly going to call with your gut shot now, aren't you?
Both players have gut shots.
A jack for Ron or a 10 for Vincent, folks. George has got to dodge a jack. And there he does.
Yeah, the river's a 4.
And George is going to take it down here. Takes down what is a pretty big pot.
Many, many bets here, Dave.
Many, many.
I mean, the guy with Queen 10 just decided that he was going to cap it.
Yeah, I mean, he's been playing
I mean,
pretty
not really for any reason.
pretty straightforward all night. And then just suddenly said, you know what, this is the hand, I'm going to go crazy. Hey, so be it. Why not? You having a good time?
Yeah, big pot there for seed 8.
Gamble, gamble, gamble.
Absolutely.
If you want to gamble, you can come down to the Bicycle Casino and play. We're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. About 10 miles. We're located 10 miles south of Los Angeles in Bell Gardens, just up the 710 freeway. And if you want to play on this game, actually, on Live at the Bike, so all your friends can see you and you can watch yourself, we're every night at 7 to 10 p.m., so just come down a little bit earlier, sign up, and we can get you in the game.
Now, SP Surfing Michael over there in that C3, he's got pocket jacks. He's going to make the raise.
Pretty
And
straightforward.
Masood's going to smooth call, 2 bets cold with Queen 8 of clubs.
Yeah, suited. You can't get away from that.
4 players.
And a couple ace rags in here, ace 9 and ace 8 of spades in seat 1. King 6 is not in the hand.
Oh, wow. What a
Queen
flop.
4-7, couple clubs. What a flop from Masood with Queen 8 of clubs.
Yeah, we don't have that up there yet, but we're going to get that in a second. Queen 8 of clubs from Masood, and the flop is Queen 7-4 with 2 clubs.
Michael bets, and Masood raises here with the Queen 8 of clubs. Let's see how Michael's going to play it.
Yeah, and Michael's in really bad
God.
shape. He's got 2 outs.
2 outs.
And obviously, Masood's got redraw.
He's going to call. So here we go. Pocket jacks against Queen 8 of clubs. Turns a 6.
Well, Masood's got a straight draw as well now.
Masood bets again. And at this point, do you get away from it if you're Michael? Looks like you might get away from it now.
Yeah, well, it's one of those tough plays that would Masood keep betting with a flush draw.
Oh, Michael's going to call. And again, he's got 2 outs here. And the river's a club, and that brings the flush.
Now
to
you
Masood.
can easily lay the hand
Yeah,
down.
because there's nothing you can beat now,
Yeah, you
right?
can't beat a queen, you can't beat clubs.
But he makes the call,
Yeah.
as we see so many times.
You know, once in a while you have to call that because the player would bet his draw.
Right, and then maybe he missed at the end.
Right. But when the club comes, you can safely throw your hand away. What can you beat, really? You're looking at it going, well, maybe the guy had 5-6. You're really reaching then.
Forget the Lakers. Let's talk about the Steelers.
Button moves over there to Button moves over here to seat 9. Is your wife Barry Woods' official masseuse now? Private masseuse?
I don't know
in
if
the
it's
house?
official. We'll see. She's actually giving him a massage tomorrow. He lives like in the middle of nowhere though.
Where does he live?
I don't know, I don't even know, like Thousand Oaks or something.
Well, that's not in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, it's out in the middle of the boonies.
Ace Jack here, suited's going to raise it up, seat 8.
I am the sickest player. If you do the kind of crap that I raise with, you would wonder how.
Flop comes Queen 6-10. Sounds like I'm getting word here that I lost the drawing. Look at Masood. He's got a set of 6s.
Close though, wasn't it?
And Masood has checked it. And George has bet with the gut shot. And Masood's going to check raise here. Well, I guess he would check raise with the set because he has here. George calls. Backdoor hearts. Straight draw. Oh, the turn's a king right off the bat.
Wow. And Masood does have redraw. He needs the board to pair, folks.
And is he going to re-raise here, Masood?
Re-raise.
He re-raises, and you got the nuts with ace-jack. Why not raise again, right?
Yeah, well, it's really tough to put somebody on ace-jack here.
And he does re-raise.
Yeah.
But he called.
And George's on fire right
And
now.
Masood knows that he's beat probably right now.
Now, Masood has 10 outs. Now, if you know you're beat, would you throw the hand away in the river? Or
Well,
no?
I mean, it's an interesting question. And the river's a queen, and Masood gets it. And Masood bets.
And is George going to raise again?
No, he's just going to call. Now, what I was going to say, though, Dave, is it depends on how you think you're beat. Because if you're beat by ace-jack, then you can call. But if the guy raises the turn, he could easily have a set of queens, tens, or kings, in which case you're drawing to 1 out,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, you're basically drawing dead, yeah.
Yeah, so
No, my only question to you is forget the turn. Obviously, you're going to call a turn because if you put the guy on a straight, you've got outs. But let's say you know the guy has you beat. Okay, you think he has a straight, and the river comes out of blank and it doesn't pair the board. Are you going to check and fold? Or is the pot then too big and limit holding to throw it
I've
away?
never seen anybody check and fold that.
Okay. That's the question.
So 0674 might have 0652 here.
Oh, that's bogus.
There goes your 1% in the dust.
That would have been $2,500.
Yeah, it's over with.
Actually, I think it's only $1,000 per person.
No, you had the hand winner. You could have got $250,000.
Right, if you hit the special envelope, but if you don't, you only get
Oh, you would
$1,000.
definitely get the special envelope. I know it.
Pocket queens here again for John. What is that, 5 times tonight?
See my luck?
My table's been called 4 times.
9-10 jack, over pair and open-ended.
Well, it's
Michael's
not
got ace-jack.
Yeah, not a bad flop for queens here.
SB Surfer's going to bet here with the ace-jack.
He does not have a club in his hand.
John is just going to call, it looks like.
Is he going to raise the turn, you think?
A lot of scary cards can come. Turns a 10.
That's one of them.
Yeah. Michael's going to bet again here.
John's just going to call
Just
again.
a call.
Man, you'd never think this guy had queens, would
And the
you?
river's a club. Michael checks, and now John's going to bet.
I like the bet by John.
Well, the funny thing, though, is that why wouldn't if you thought that queens were good, obviously he thinks queens are good enough for a value bet on the river, why wouldn't you raise the turn? Because if you think the guy possibly has a 10, wouldn't you just check the river down? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I'm not quite sure why he didn't raise the flop or the turn.
Right.
I will say I like the river bet when my opponent checks to me,
Right.
I'm pretty sure my queens are good.
Although oftentimes I've made that bet and lost because some guy has a.
A 10,
Yeah.
and he puts you on a flush or something like that, right? Hey.
Look at this email here. Jacqueline Tran. Dave and Bart, have you ever had all women play at the table? There should be enough women playing at the bike that you could probably do an invite one night. Well, we have a couple of times, haven't
Yeah,
we?
we do have. If you check the archives out, you can check out. We've had a few women nights.
Right. And we're going to be having another one on Valentine's Day, so maybe Jackie Tran, if she's nice enough to me, might be able to come down here and play.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
So Jackie Tran, is that the girl I met?
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
Yeah.
I gotta say, she was pretty cute.
Does that surprise you?
No, not at all.
As long as they've got all 5 fingers and 5 toes, I'm good.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah. She's clearly female.
Right.
No,
Asian.
she seemed very nice.
Vietnamese.
Yeah.
Cool. Live on the internet? What's up, Matt?
Pocket 7's over here for seat 8.
King Jack in seat 1 for Ron. Sure, I'll get involved with his hands.
Raise it.
George is going to raise it up with 7s. Ron's going to call, and it's going to get heads up here. 7s and Jacks. Now let's see if Ron can use his power of position and take this pot away, whether he hits it or
It's
not.
actually King Jack over there in seat 1. Ace 5-3 or a couple diamonds. So 7s are still good, and he's going to bet right away.
Now, let's see if Ron raises this. Well, you know what? I don't wonder if George can get away from the hand anyway. I'm not sure. I mean, that's not the flop you're looking for, and it's an easy laydown for Ron, yeah. Obviously, easier for us. We know what the cards are.
So did we get word that tomorrow night is going to be a very, very good chance that it's going to be our inaugural $80 no limit game, Dave?
$80 no limit game. And what are the blinds in that game?
2-2.
2-2.
Yeah. Little bit of low limit restricted buy-in play.
Wow, well, that's not. I mean, you start off with 40 times
Hey,
the
I've seen a
big
lot.
blind.
I've seen a lot worse. I told you over at Commerce they do $5, $10, $400 max.
No,
I mean, that's a ridiculous.
much
game.
better.
Well, it's the same basic concept, but look at this pocket aces here by seat 5.
If you can build up your stack a little bit in that game, up to $200
and
or $220.
I actually like that game better. Wow, look at this aces. He just limped in. He's trying to play a trap here. Seat 6 doesn't chop. The guy's got aces in the small blind. He checks. John bets with 3-5, and he's going to check raise. And John quickly folds. Unbelievable.
Well, I guess he made an extra. I want to say he made probably $6 more than he would have made had he raised.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if there's ever a time you slow play aces, it would be in a limped around pot.
Then I go like this, and then they say,
Um,
and I check.
What I was going to say is I was watching the action in that game. That game's, I think, sometimes better than our 100 game here for a couple reasons. You get more money per your big blind.
Right.
And there are more chips because they give you, it's played with $2
Yeah.
chips, so you get 2 stacks of green. So there's more chips in the pot versus the $5 yellow chips.
Yeah, in the $100 game, obviously, everybody only starts out with 20 chips.
Right.
It just doesn't look like there's that much action. Not much maneuver for you to play around.
We had a raise here by Jennifer with ace-7 of hearts.
Well, there's the fifth hand.
It's a little early position here. Surf and Michael there call with pocket 8s. Seat 5 call with pocket 9s. King, queen in the hand, and king 10. And seat 5 is going to come out and bet immediately with pocket 9s, and he's going to take it down.
Easy money. Let's see it.
And you know what? With a board like that and all the clubs, why not take a shot at it?
Well, Jennifer checked the flop. Funny thing is, if Jennifer actually had continued to bet, she might have taken it down. But we talk about limit hold'em. It's not like no limit where you can throw a bet in there that's a good size, and if you get called, you probably know you're beat.
Right.
In limit, you bet, and somebody might be calling you a deuce 4 offsuit in this game, right? You just don't even know.
You got to understand also a no limit hold'em. By betting a certain amount, you can even get somebody like a flop of that was Jack 6 blank.
Right.
In limit hold'em, a lot of these players will call you down the entire way with Jack 10.
Right.
In no limit hold'em, you bet 150 and then you bet $400.
Right.
Jack 10 is not calling you.
Raise here by ace king here in seat 3. That's
Well,
Michael.
not always at least.
Seat 4 is going to 3-bet here with pocket sixes.
Nice to see SP surfing there, Michael, and seat 3 finally start getting some real hands.
Yeah.
And George is going to call here with 4 or 5. Wow, George is re-raising.
No, it was a 3-bet by
okay.
Seat 4.
I was like, whoa.
Jacob 3-bet with pocket sixes. Michael calls. But Jacob is the pre-flop re-raiser, so he's got drive in this hand. The flop comes 5-3-3.
Well, George hits top pair.
He's going to bet. Well, Jacob's got overcards. If you're Michael, do you just get away from the ace-king right now? He's going to take one off. Let's see if Jacob's going to raise here with sixes. He does raise.
Yeah, pretty straightforward. And is George going to push? Sometimes George really, really pushes hard. No, he's going to call.
He just calls, and Michael calls. Again, I might have just open folded there. Turns a jack, or just folded to the bet. Gets checked, and Jacob's going to bet again here with sixes.
Why not? And I'd imagine that he'll probably just check the river if a blank comes out.
Although if he thinks he might get paid by a 5, well, the river's an ace.
And Michael would have gotten there, but... And he checks the river.
Sixes are going to be good here.
Yeah, and Jacob took control of that hand pre-flop, and he wins it because he did that. Now, if he just called, and Michael was the aggressor, you wonder how it would have turned out.
Jacob going with the toothpick look, takes it down. I was actually watching some of the archives over the weekend, David. Amir, one of the common players at the higher level.
Yeah.
He does the toothpick look with the wrapper on the toothpick. He has the toothpick in his mouth with the wrapper on it. Interesting look. Buttons over here in seat 7.
Interesting post here from Barry Woods on 2+2. You know, he always looks the brighter side of things. Look what he said. This game is the most frustrating thing to watch. Why haven't more of these players killed themselves already? Barry always looking at the silver lining of it all.
We have a raise here by Jacob. He's got ace-queen offsuit.
Barry's got to realize the whole world does not revolve around no-limit hold'em. Now, the vast majority of players actually play limit poker.
Wow, Vincent re-raised. He re-raised. He pulled the limp re-raise, Dave, with ace-jack offsuit. Limp re-raise. And the flop comes ace-queen 4. Jacob's got top 2 pair, and Vincent's got top pair. Let's see how Jacob's going to play it. Is he going to wait till the turn to raise? I think he is.
See, and if he raises right there, Vincent might 3-bet it, and you might get that whole play you like to do there.
Turns an 8.
Imagine he's going to raise here. Yep, there it is. And if you're Vincent, can you lay the hand down?
No, he's going to call. Turns, river's a 7.
And this will go check, call.
And again, where in the world is ace-jack going to be good with that action post-flop?
Yeah.
Right? And I think sometimes players just know it, but they think, oh, it's limit hold'em. I have to pay these bets off.
Right.
I have to play it because I have top pair. I have to call. I have to.
And if you're playing with players that have to call you,
right,
well, then you don't need to bluff.
Right.
You know, you don't really need to. You just bet your hands when you've got it.
So we're looking at a chip count here. So Masood, he's made a little bit of a comeback, hasn't
he? Yeah, well, he hit that couple of big hands here. He hit a full house. He hit trip 7s earlier, won a couple of big pots.
I got to tell you, the player that I'm most impressed with their play is John in seat 6. Jacob seems to be pretty solid as well. I don't know about checking ace-king on the river down there.
Yeah, I'd like to see John actually, push a little harder with, like, say, his hands on the flop and on the turn. But he doesn't seem to get himself in trouble with some trouble hands.
4-way action here, limped around and in the blinds. Jennifer's got a flush draw. Let's see if she bets out here with the ace. No, I love to bet that flop with 7-8 of hearts.
Especially an unraised pot.
Because no one can call me usually without an ace. She check calls here.
You got to remember, it's an unraised pot. The likelihood is that nobody has the ace.
Usually better players will come in for a raise with an ace.
Yeah.
Turns a queen.
Is that a little southern twang from Jennifer?
I think she's putting an act on. Seat 8's going to bet here. George with the king. He has the best hand. Jennifer's
I like the act.
Call.
2-player.
We're going to the river. The river's a heart. She makes it.
And is she going to bet straight out?
I'm sure.
She does. She bets it. George is going to call, it looks like. Well,
he's all in here.
Yeah, she doesn't check and try to, she just bets it right out.
Well, why on earth would you ever check a made flush on the river?
We've seen people do it.
I know. Especially with the people with propensity for people to check down the river with a hand as good as a set
Now,
when
George,
the third flush card
Yeah, now
falls.
in that case, George, if you see that board there, George only had a king. Now, George
Right.
only had one chip, so it makes it a little different. But let's say George had a full 6 chips, and Jen bets into me there.
Right.
Is there any way my king 6 is good?
Which is probably 1 minute too long.
Not against Jennifer, no.
Is there any way? I mean, is there a draw out there that she might have missed?
King 9 of clubs over here for seat 6. He's going to limp in. Jennifer's going to limp in with ace rag suited. Against a limper like John, I probably would raise here on the button with ace 4 suited if I was going to play it, but she just limps.
She's got a flush draw again now. The nut flush draw this time.
John's got top pair. And John
Raise it.
bets, and Jennifer looks like raises.
Yeah, Jennifer raised here. It's a pretty classic raise from a limit hold'em player. She's raising to get the free card. It'll probably go check now.
And actually, she's going to bet.
Wow.
She bets the turn, and
Trying-
John's going to call.
I'm surprised she didn't take the free card there.
The river's a 10. And she's going to bet, and she missed.
And John's going to pay her
call.
off, and John takes the money.
King. King's in.
I'm really surprised Jennifer didn't take the free card there.
I will always tell you if you ask me.
Well, again, maybe she's playing the player, Dave, because against John, who maybe had like a jack or a weak king, he might be the only person that might fold here.
Yeah, I guess
never
so.
know.
You know, maybe if you never know. He could be betting Queen 10, or he could be betting, say, a Jack even. I guess there's an argument for that.
Could be on the same flush draw, even though the
Yeah.
chances of that are slim.
I just find generally if I'm raising with a draw, I'm raising to get the free card. Otherwise, why wouldn't I just call him? And if I hit my flush, he'll bet into me, and I can raise him then on the turn.
Well, how about this? The funny thing about this is we've seen John play, and people have said earlier in the night, no one's going to lay down hands on the turn. If Jennifer raised the turn, she had just called the flop and raised the turn, there's no way he's sticking around with King 9 of clubs.
Exactly.
No way. Not that guy.
Now, if you're going to raise on the flop to get the free card,
Right.
hey, all the power
Right.
to you. But
Right.
if you're going to raise to keep betting, why not raise on the turn?
Right.
You say it, Barry. Greenstein says it. It's a great play, and there's no way John calls you. You're 100% correct. And there's a perfect example of that's a perfect example of when you would raise on the turn with a draw against a pretty solid player.
So, seat number 8 there, that's a new player. Hotchik. Is that like the goalie?
Hasek, Dominic Hasek.
Is he still around or is he retired?
He's still there, man. He plays for Ottawa.
You got the goods, go for it.
Well, I'm sure many people over there at that site will be happy that I mentioned him. Raised here by King Jack, Jennifer. She's raised.
Were you trying to take credit for it now, too?
Many Ottawa viewers. 8-7-9 here, couple hearts.
Well, Hasek has ace of hearts.
And a pair. Pair in the nut flush draw.
Yeah, he's in pretty good shape here. Now, Michael has an open-ended straight flush draw
Michael bets.
and a straight.
Hotchik calls. Yeah, Michael flopped a straight, and he bet right out, and Hotchik called. Turns a king. Michael should continue to bet here, I would imagine.
Now, the 5 of hearts or the 10 of hearts were to come out. Michael has a straight flush, and that's obviously not. That would be a magical card.
Right. Guy calls again. What is Michael doing in the hand?
What do you mean?
And the river's a 9. And he bets again.
He's in the big blinds.
Yeah, but come on, to Jennifer's raise?
Hey, any 2 cards in limit hold them. Don't you know that?
Yes. And look at this. Hotchik might call him all the way down here with a 7.
Yeah, well, the 9 made it that much more unlikely the guy has a 9.
But remember, what would he have been betting in, though? If he had been betting the king high flush draw, he's got a pair of kings, right?
Yeah,
You
exactly.
have the ace.
Yeah, that's
The
why.
only thing you might be able to beat there is the queen high
Yeah,
flush
if you
draw.
didn't have the ace of hearts, it would make more sense.
Right, right.
And Jen's actually probably wondering, what the heck are you doing in there?
Glad I folded.
And there you go.
Take it down, Michael.
Do you remember the dominant performance that Dominic Hasek had? I believe it was in the 98 Olympics during the penalty shootouts when the Czech Republic won the gold medal? 98 Winter Olympics,
98.
was it?
I want to say it was actually...
2002 was in Salt Lake, so it was in 98 in, was it Nagano?
It was actually, no, it was 2000. It was when they switched it. It was when it was the one time now, obviously the Winter and Summer Olympics are different years.
Right.
It's every 2 years. And I think the Winter Olympics were 2000 and 2002. And then 2006.
No, I think they were 98 and 2002. They skipped it. They were 96-98 in 2000.
So it's 96, 98,
Yeah.
and then 2002.
Yeah, and I think it was 98 that he had
Okay, well, I'll
a really
check-
dominant performance.
When Czech won it behind him and Yager and stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that. Yeah,
yeah.
they were amazing.
Ace king here. Hotchkiss raised it up. Jack 10 deuce. Ron's open-ended. Hotchkiss checks. Ron checks, and Vincent bets as a bluff with ace 5. Call here.
Ron is open-ended.
Turns at 3.
Well, Ace King's still good there. Vincent's got a wheel draw now. He needs a 4. Vincent needs a 4 or 5 to win this pot.
Vincent's going to bet again.
Ron needs an 8, a 9, a queen, or 7 to win this pot. And Hotchkiss just needs everybody else to miss, and he's going to win this pot.
All right, river time. Yeah, why not? Cutting. Why not?
Yeah, but the issue, though, is that is there going to be a bet, and are people going to see the showdown?
Obviously.
And the river's a 6, and it misses everyone.
Well, let's see. Hotchkiss' hand is good here, but how does he know it?
If Vincent checks, Hotchkiss going to win, but he's going to bet again.
He's going to bet on the button.
And there you go. He's probably going to take it down.
Yeah, and,
Wow.
and sure enough, he is. Nice bet by Vincent there.
Well, it almost screams like when a guy raises pre-flop, and then check calls the flop, and check calls the turn, then he probably has ace-king.
Ace
or
King,
king,
raise queen,
or
yeah,
something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think it was 98 was also the year that was very disappointing for Canada and the U.S. Canada got 4th, and U.S. didn't even make it into medals.
The U.S. hockey, I got to be honest, when it comes to, like, I already told you, when it comes to soccer, I'm an England fan. When it comes to hockey, I'm a Canadian fan.
At heart, really.
Yeah, I am. I mean, I grew up in upstate New York. I have a lot of friends that are Canadian. USA hockey, it's good, it's okay, whatever.
See, we were big high school hockey people in the Northeast,
Huge.
Massachusetts.
I mean, the funny thing is that when it was, remember, when all the pros went to play in the ice hockey, a lot of the Americans naively thought, oh, it'll be the dream team. We're going to go over there just like our dream team, like when Michael Jordan and Larry Bird and Magic Johnson went over there. I go, what are you kidding me? I go, we're like the 5th best in the world. Maybe.
One of my best friends at home, his little brother, if anyone's out there in the Boston area, is actually the beat writer for the Globe, high school hockey. His name is Jeffrey
high school-
Savalas.
high school
It's a
hockey
big thing
in-
in the
yeah.
Boston area.
North, in the central north, like Minnesota area, and in the New England area, is huge high school hockey.
Give me good cards, I got a call, man. There's a raise.
Interesting 2+2 post here from Stanky. Bart, I was in a game the other day where a guy was sporting 2 toothpicks. It's a bit of a tell. The more toothpicks, the more loose aggressive they are. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Laggy players have toothpicks.
Well, 2 players have top pair here, 10-6-3, a couple diamonds.
Jacobs got kicker.
And I believe, I want to say, Jacob was the raiser. Michael bets with top pair. Jacob raises. Vincent calls 2 bets, and Michael calls. Turns a
Yep.
deuce.
Jacobs got to gouge a lot of cards here. He's got to dodge a 5, a 6,
Now,
or a
does
jack.
Michael continue to call here as Jacob has raised his flop bet
Yeah,
and bet on the turn?
It's a pretty easy laydown when you get a caller in between.
Well, he's going to call again. And the river here's a 9.
Yeah.
And is Jacob going to make a little value bet here at the end?
Looks like
He
he
is.
Yeah.
And Michael might call him all the way down here at this point.
yeah,
And
what's the
Vincent calls here with a pair of 6s, and Michael overcalls.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nice value bet by Jacob. Some people would, a lot of players would not bet that with
Right.
King 10. Why not? If I
Right.
don't get raised,
Yeah.
hey, I'm going to think I'm the best hand.
The 9 doesn't necessarily really help anything unless you think somebody's on 7-8.
Or unless you're somebody, if you're thinking of 2 pair, you know, Jack 10, 10, 9, something like that.
right.
Might be scary.
Yeah, play it for this inning.
Hey, if in doubt, bet. It's my motto.
That's your motto, huh?
It is my motto.
Raise here by seat number 9.
Yeah, Jen's got King Queen offsuit in early position.
Well, you know, in a live game, I'll bring that one in for a raise because usually you're not playing 10-handed. You're usually playing 8-handed, as we are here.
Yeah.
9-handed with somebody
7-handed.
missing. Yeah, 7-handed. You're right. Online in a full ring game, it's an easy fold, I think.
You certainly don't want to. Some people will say, well, it's not a good enough hand to limp in. It's not a good enough hand to raise, so I'll limp in with it.
Let's see if she bets here with overcards. She does. Now, Michael called with another suited connector, and he's got a flush draw, and he's going to raise. And she might just fold right here.
And suited connectors,
Yeah,
I
don't
think, are
know.
overrated.
I mean,
in
one of
limit hold'em.
the biggest leaks that I've seen of Michael so far is calling raises with suited connectors pre-flop. If he wants to improve his game here.
Well, that and small pairs.
Yeah. I mean, and people might shout out, "Well, look at small stakes hold'em. Look at that, Jennifer folded."
And he takes it down.
I mean, people might say, "Well, look at small stakes hold'em. You can do that in small stakes hold'em. You guys don't play small stakes hold'em. Small stakes hold'em's a drawing game." Well, this game hasn't really played quite. It hasn't played 8-way action pre-flop.
Yeah,
I don't really buy into it.
You know, it was funny when I first started playing hold'em, limit hold'em, and I was playing 3-6, 6-12, 9-18, and so forth. I used to actually, like the big dork I am, I would sit there with a pad of paper and I would write down every single hand I played.
Yeah.
And how much I either lost or won in the pot. After about 8 months, and I'm talking about thousands of hours, I put this into like an Excel spreadsheet to see which hands cost me money, which hands made me money, and so forth. And those small pocket pairs were my biggest losers. And I'm saying pairs from deuce through 8 were my biggest losers. I got killed on those hands.
Ace-king raised here. Seat 8's going to call in the small blind with Queen Jack, and Jennifer's going to call with Jack 9 in the big blind. So here we go. Jennifer is dominated. 8-4-3. Misses everyone. See if Ron's going to continue to bet here with Ace-king, and he does. This is probably going to go fold.
Yeah, you'd imagine.
Here's
so.
a
Too
classic
solid.
case.
No.
Well, Hatchet calls. If I'm not going to call Queen Jack out in the field in late position to an early position raiser as he spikes a queen, why on earth am I going to call it in the small blind? And he's going to bet here.
It's one thing to call it. There's 4 or 5 other
And
players
Ron
involved.
calls.
I don't want to call it heads up or 3 ways.
And the river's a jack, and Hot Chick makes 2 pair, and he's going to bet again.
Yeah. Imagine Ron lays
Ron
down.
lays down. I mean, that's the other thing, too, I look at. You look at it, you've got... I mean, I've seen some good players get attached to their suited connectors. You got a raise out there in the field in early position. Pretty solid player. A guy calls. You look down at 3-5 of hearts in the small blind, or 4-5 of hearts in the small blind. Why would you call if you're not going to call on the button? Now, the big blind's a little bit different. Again, that money is owed into the pot, but you're getting, those types of odds.
Yeah.
But the small blind, you're only in for half a bet. You're in the worst position. It amazes me that people call with suited connectors in the small blind 2 raises. Now, if you're just going to limp in to a half-size bet,
Right.
okay.
I mean, I really think in limit hold'em, small pairs and suited connectors are vastly overrated.
Right.
I mean, you can look at Sklansky's book, Advanced
Right.
Hold'em, and he actually puts those suited connectors. He actually rates them higher than I do. Call me crazy for disputing what Sklansky says, but
I don't think he actually rates them all that high, though.
I'm talking about when he goes Group 1, Group 2,
No,
Group
yeah, but
3,
I don't
and
think
so
he,
forth.
I mean, the only thing that I remember him rating that seemed a little bit high was Jack 10 suited, which he would say rate in Group 3 along with like an Ace Queen offsuit or like, things
It's
like
funny.
that.
Jack 10 suited. Somebody wrote a long
Right.
time ago. Somebody said Jack 10 suited is the best hold'em hand there is.
Well, look at this. Michael's going to raise here under the gun. He's got Jack 10 suited. I remember having this conversation with you when I first started working here, Dave. I was like, don't you limp in with Jack 10 suited? And you said, no. Not under the gun.
I mean, you've seen over the last year
Yeah.
or so since you've worked, it's a hand that's okay. It looks pretty.
Right. Now, you might limp in a very, very loose game because it works well multi-way. Now, he's got second pair here. Hatchet called with the king. Michael's going to bet.
I mean, I just don't see the vast what the great value of Jack 10 suited is, especially when you're out of position.
Hatchet raises. And Michael folds quickly. He had a pair.
Wow.
You might argue there that you could call the raise.
Call one time?
Yeah,
Yeah.
call one time for 2 pair. His 2 pair or his trips were good there.
Yeah, without a club out there, I figured
Yeah.
you just threw it away. Getting word that player in C8, Hot Chick, is actually related to Ed, one of our big-time no-limit hold'em players. And a new player in seat 7 is Dan.
Somebody emailed me here, and they corrected me. I was right about 98 being Nagano. I'll get to this after this hand, but I do now remember this.
So 2000 was actually the Olympics. It was 92 and 94. You're right. Okay.
They made the skip one time before that.
There was
Ace King here by seat 5, and he's got top pair. Wow, Queen 10 of clubs for Ron, flush draw. Michael bets out on a weak king, and seat 5 does not raise with Ace King, but seat 8 is going to raise. He's got king 10, so the case king on the flop.
Now, and Ron's in there with a flush draw. You know what? Sometimes I will raise with this flush draw, not to knock people out, but for value. I've got 3 people in
What's
there.
interesting, SB Surf and Michael bet with king 6. Craig just called. When it got raised, when it got back to Craig, he 3-bet. So now he's jamming. The turn's a 4. And now he's going to bet again.
But there are times to raise with a draw if there are enough players in there, and the odds are great.
Hatchick called. And now Ron's not going to chase with the paired board.
Yeah, he gets away from it.
And Michael is in kicker trouble once again. Ace-King's going to be good here unless he gets unlucky. And the river's a club, and Queen 10 of clubs would have taken it down.
Yeah, I'm real surprised seat 1 did not take one up.
It's limit hold'em. I mean, the board's paired, but you don't have the type of what we call reversed implied odds.
Yeah, and no limit hold'em, it's a great laydown.
Right,
but
he would have made the flush.
Yeah. You know, what are you really scared of? I mean, there's 2 players banging at it. You probably figure they both have kings. You can't say, what, are you putting somebody on a 4?
Well, maybe at that point he thought Craig had pocket kings when he 3-bet, and he was drawing dead. But
okay.
I mean, sometimes I've made that lay down, but usually when the pot's that big, I won't do that. Now, again, I actually skipped the year. It went from 92
to 94,
which was in Albertville,
right.
France, Winter Olympics, and then it went to 94 in Lillehammer in Norway, and then in 98 in Nagano.
Have you ever been to the Winter Olympics? I got to tell you, I'm a huge Winter Olympics fan. Being a hockey player, I love the Winter Olympics. I was actually in 1980. I went to Lake Placid.
How old are you?
I was like 5, and it was. I mean, that's where I actually grew my love of hockey.
Really?
It was amazing.
Raise here.
And I'm actually looking forward in 2010 to go to Whistler.
Jennifer raised here with Queen 10. King, Jack, and Ace 3 called. See if Jennifer continues to bet with overcards. Achik is going to bet here, though, with a wheel draw.
Well, he's got the best hand. And if you're Jennifer, do you just lay it down here or what?
Well,
I mean, you only got queen high. What are you calling for?
usually against players that aren't necessarily capable of making huge bluffs, yeah, you just lay it down.
I mean,
yeah.
you got overcards with no draw. Get rid of it. And we've got about 25 minutes left in our show, and that is Jen's 9th hand.
I'm glad that you're happy that you won the friendly wager.
I have won the friendly wager. I feel like I'm on top of the world.
Do you feel like you're on top of the world?
I do. You know what? I feel like I could go bobsledding. It's kind of weird. They have the X Games going on right now, you know? And a lot of the X Gamers are actually going to be doing that. And then, a couple of months later, they're going to be doing the Olympics.
Jennifer here has raised it up with ace-6 of hearts. Craig called in the big blind with tens. And seat 2 is in over there with king jack.
Wow.
And Craig flops quads. Jennifer bets here with 10-10-5 on the board. Vincent raises, so you got a bet and a raise. And if you're Craig, you've got quads. He makes the call.
I don't mind just calling here.
Well, now how about you bet the turn? How about now you come out and bet the turn, so if somebody's on some sort of draw. Okay, now he called. He got Jennifer in.
What draw? It's 10-10-5 rainbow.
Well, he checks. But now this guy's going to bet, and I guess you're just going to call again. The river's the
Well, no,
turn's
I
an
think
8.
you could have raised. Well, AK calls there, no big deal. And then you probably bet.
And
it.
now he's just going to come out and bet.
Yeah. I mean, I know it's a tough place to play it, but you almost want somebody to catch something like, hey, who knows? Maybe Jen's got a pair. Maybe she'll hit her full house. You never know.
And he showed it.
Maybe the ace will come off. Maybe the 6 will come off.
He showed it as many people do.
I mean, the board's 10-10-5. You can't really put your opponent on much of anything.
For the shy, handsome son to see.
And you got to check it because it's a possibility of something.
There it was that
Trevor, right? I'm Jennifer.
Nice email here from Mike Antolini.
Yep.
Says, hey, guys, hockey, talk, and poker. Why are you only on for 3 hours a night?
And I'll go into this email a little bit deeper.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Mike.
Deeper hidden meaning here.
Glad you're enjoying it.
Again, people in the Boston area. Ace-10 and ace-9. Oh, King, Jack, 9.
Well, John has flopped a royal straight flush draw.
A bet by John, and Achik called.
He's ahead.
Achik raised with ace-9. Turns a 3.
He's ahead of him right now. John needs a queen, a heart. That's it. And the queen of hearts obviously would give him the royal flush. Royal straight flush.
Now, John checked and Achik bet here.
And clearly, John can at least call this.
Yeah. I don't necessarily know if I would check raise because I don't think Achik's going to lay down what he's represented here. The river's a jack, and he missed.
Raising with your draw in this game.
And Achik's going to bet here. Unbelievable. Wow. You don't usually see that type of bet.
Well, you got to look at it and go, okay, is there any way the guy's going to lay down a king or a jack? No. I mean,
Yeah.
not much point in betting that, but hey.
Michael Anatoli also said, I got smacked around.
Anatoly?
Antolini, excuse me. Yeah, Italian. That kind of changes the meaning of that last name, doesn't it?
I know, you make these guys' names up all the time. It's funny.
I got smacked around by Reading for 4 years in hockey. They were actually #1 in the state before the season this year. Now, I'm from Reading, and again, my best friend's little brother is the beat writer for the Globe. He started a bunch of controversy this year because he rated Reading #1 over Catholic Memorial.
How
in the state.
dare him?
And he's from Reading, so
Oh.
how's that bias?
Man.
There you go. Looks like we got a picture of somebody's family there. Yep. Yep.
Very proud dad.
And we get a raise here by Jennifer. King 10 of spades she's opened with.
That was clearly a trap there that we did not step in.
Seat 2 is called. With Jack 9.
I check.
Jennifer checks. And Vincent checks right behind her. Turns an 8. You know, sometimes you can pull this move if you're a girl, I think. And now she's going to bet. You know, she checked the flop. We've seen Vincent always bet the flop when it's been checked to him, but now he just checks right behind her. And the river's a 6. And now she checks, and now he bets as a bluff.
Yeah, and is she gonna call him with king high?
She did call with king high.
Wow, what a call. She calls him with king high, and it's good. Great call by Jen.
Well, the only problem is that she can't beat ace high. I mean,
Hey.
the guy's been bluffing, but,
She sniffed it out, though. She didn't think he had ace high. She thought he had nothing,
well,
and she was right.
I would have probably been more apt to bet that river if I was going to call it. Who knows? But if you're going to bluff catch, I guess so. But, you know, can you bluff catch with king high? What if the guy showed over ace 4? Then you'd really look like an idiot, wouldn't you?
No, you do, but
Yeah.
hey, I mean, let's give her credit where credit's due.
It's a little
there.
different with ace king, you know.
No, I understand what you're saying, but hey, it's a good call. Just because you wouldn't do it. She actually made 6 more chips than you would have. Actually, she might have made a whole more pot than you would have. You might have laid. I don't know if I called either. It's a great call by her. And just letting Mike know, Mike Angelini, if you do play hockey and you come on down here, he said he's moving to California in July. Definitely plans on playing some poker here. And if you look me up, I can hook you up with some hockey too.
Men's league hockey.
Men's league hockey. It's actually pretty good out here because a lot of hockey players have moved out
A lot
from
of
Canada,
out of
East
staters.
Coast.
Yeah.
A lot of
6 player.
out of staters have moved here.
Vincent raised here with king jack. He got called in a bunch of spots. 6-way action, 12 small bets. Ace, queen, king, couple hearts.
You know, Vincent's got a second pair with a gut shot.
And it looks like his hand is good right now.
Yeah, it is.
But everybody checked it. The turn's a 5.
Well, that doesn't change anything.
See if Vincent's going to bet now. Unless he has Jack 10 here, you got to think that he doesn't have an ace, right? I don't know if you can make a move to get him off of the hand, but
See, that's the problem.
yeah,
Moves are just, it's one of those things, it's almost more valuable knowing that nobody is making moves in this game,
right.
because making a move on somebody just doesn't work out.
Hatchick's thinking about chasing here with his gut shot straight draw. He folds. And Ron also has a gut shot, and Vincent's going to take it down there.
Nice bet by Vincent. Takes it down.
Got time for a few more hands, about 10 minutes left in the show.
Have you been watching a lot of hockey this year, by the way?
I mean, on the Outdoor Living Network? No, not quite.
I love the new rules.
Oh, well,
I got to tell you.
What are the new... you can two-line pass, right?
The two-line pass, they opened the game up that way.
Right.
No more ties. It ends with a penalty shot.
Right,
It's a
right.
tie. The goalies can't come out, and
fight?
Although the goalies can come out of their net, but only a little bit. They can't go all the way to the corner and play the puck.
Really?
It's really opened the game up. And the
Can they go
teams that-
behind the net, though?
They can go behind the
I
net.
haven't paid attention to hockey this year.
They
But
can go behind the
But
net.
obviously, I'm a rules aficionado of any sport, so this interests me.
But these rules, rarely do changes of rules actually affect the game so
Right.
much, but in hockey it really has.
Three-way action here. 9-5 deuce, couple diamonds. Seat 1 was the pre-flop raiser with ace-jack, and he's going to come out and bet. Jennifer has a little piece of this. She's got bottom pair. And she's going to check raise.
Yep.
And, you know, is she in the small blind here? She's in the big blind. That
Yeah.
was what she called.
And she puts Ron on garbage. Now, does Ron... Sometimes I'll 3-bet that, or I'll fold it.
Turns a jack, and now Ron's got top pair. Jennifer checks, and Ron's going to bet.
But see, Jen's putting herself in a tough spot by not betting the turn.
And now she folds, but what if the guy had ace-king?
Well, by checking, you've
Yeah.
reduced that bluff, haven't you?
Yeah.
Now, if you bet the turn and get raised, well, then you can throw it away.
Let me throw out a rules question at you. And I
Go ahead.
heard this discussed, and I was
We're
surprised.
still talking
that-
hockey?
Actually, I'm going to change that over to football.
Okay.
If
go
you
ahead.
have judgment calls that are able to be reviewed via instant replay,
Yeah.
and I know that the way a rule states it right now, that penalties cannot be reviewed, why on earth can't they say that they can review pass interference?
Why
Wouldn't
can't
that
they?
make a lot of sense? I mean, that's a make or break call. That penalty is a make or break call. And they review judgment calls all the time. It
Yeah.
would just make sense.
Well, they don't review any judgment calls. What judgment calls do they review?
They review judgment. That's all they review. People
No.
have it backwards.
No, actually, all they review is actual factual things in terms of fumbles, interceptions,
No,
and so
those
forth.
are judgment calls. 10-6-4 here, a couple diamonds. Jennifer made a raise with king 10 of hearts. She's hit top pair, and she's going to bet and take it down. When we talk about a judgment call, in baseball, it's the opposite. You can protest a rule call. You cannot protest a judgment call like an out or safe, foul or fair
No,
call.
right. But I'm saying in football, the whole ruling generally is, let's say in a fumble or an interception or something like that,
Those
it has
are-
to be indisputable
Yeah, but
evidence
yeah,
to
but
overturn something.
that is what the definition of a judgment call is. That is a judgment call. It's not a rule call. A rule call would be protesting the game because, you know, the guy
Right.
gave a 15-yard penalty instead of a 5-yard penalty. Limp here by seed 8. King 6 off suit.
Right. I guess their theory of it's more of like if you were to make an analogy to baseball, in a football game you would never be able to say you would never be able to review a called strike or a called ball, but you would be able to review if somebody was safe or out at first base. Something that video evidence. It's not an opinion. It's more of the video evidence can actually support your claim or dispute your claim.
Wow, raised and a re-raise here. Chuck raised with absolutely nothing, and Vincent re-raised with ace-queen. And I think Chuck has put himself all... No, he's going to fold now to the re-raise.
There you go. Yeah, he's got a hold of the rack behind him.
Yeah, he does.
Now, there's actually there's some heavy support for a change in the penalty interference rule, in the pass interference
Into
rule.
15 yards like they do in college?
Well, no, they don't want to do that all across because it's too easy. Then anytime you were beat, somebody would just drag down the player.
Right.
What they want to do is they want to make it like the face mask rule, where you can have flagrant pass interference, which would be a spot foul,
Right.
or you can have inadvertent pass interference, which would be a 15-yard foul.
Well, they kind of have, illegal contact, which is contact beyond 5 yards while the ball's necessarily not in the air, which is only
Right.
a 5-yard rule automatic first down, but I see what you mean. Seed 8's going to raise here with
Right.
pocket
That's the
kings.
push for it.
Yeah. And we're heads up here between John and Hachik. And John flops him, out-flops him, ace 4-4. He checks. Hachik bets.
Imagine John's going to do a little check raise here. No, just going to call here.
Turns to 7.
Is John going to check? And John, see, the interesting thing is, now if a guy calls me on that kind of flop, I'm going to check the turn. I don't want to give him any more money, and he bets the entire way. I mean, you got to look. I understand kings are difficult to get away from, but a flop of ace 4-4, I bet my opponent calls me. What is he calling with?
No, sometimes I bet the turn there, and then I check the river.
Okay.
Because he could be calling with pocket 9s, pocket 8s, something like that.
I guess if you check the turn and then you induce that bluff,
Well,
you're
I
forced
guess-
to pay off on the river.
Who
I mean, you're
knows?
certainly not going to bet the turn and the river, though, are you? With kings.
No, I wouldn't bet the turn in the room.
And obviously, a lot of these players are here just to have a good time. They're recreational players, and the last thing we're doing is getting on them. It's just more of we're just pointing out some plays for you at home.
Email here from William Kim. He says, "Hey guys, love the show and the commentary. Why is Corporation Mike called Corporation Mike?" We'll get to this after this, yeah.
How does that come up tonight?
Vincent's going to raise it up. He's got pocket. No, he's got 9-10 offsuit. Seat 4 is called here with King Queen offsuit in the big blind.
It's so. I don't want.
5-way action. 10 small bets in there. Vincent's the pre-flop raiser, queen
Yeah.
5 deuce.
I love 5-4 of hearts. 5-4 of hearts is in there, actually. That's seat 7, Dan.
Now, Jacob comes right out and bets top pair.
This cost
And seat 7's going to call with 4-5 of hearts.
Yeah, I
Wow.
love that hand at no limit hold'em. A limit
Right.
hold'em, I hate it.
Now, Vincent, he's hit absolutely nothing, but he's going to call as well with 9-10. Turns a 5, and Dan's hit trip 5s. Unbelievable.
Yeah, that's why I love the hand.
Now, Jacob bets here with king-queen. But Dan's just going to call. I was going to say, if Dan raised, can you easily throw away the king-queen? Vincent's going to get away from it. I guess Dan might be waiting to the river to raise here.
Yeah, that's not a bad play. I don't mind waiting to the river as long as it raises the river.
Jacob bets here again.
And now you're going to get a raise?
No, he just calls.
How do you just call that?
Just
Come
calls
on.
with 3 5s.
You got to raise that. And wouldn't you be shocked if you had king queen, you just got called to the river? You'd be like,
see if we can take a look at Jacob's facial expression
you
over
just-
there in seat 4.
you got to be amazed. You're going, you didn't raise me? I mean, I have no problem with the guy having 5-4. That happens. But it's amazing that the guy never showed any strength with it.
So why is Corporation Mike called Corporation Mike?
Could have pocket queen.
Go ahead. Answer the
Go
question.
for it.
Play through sight, man. Come on, this is
I don't think it's, yeah, we took the money out before we...
Button is in seat 3.
There goes that lie.
You think because the camera is only peeking a tournament? It's not a tournament. It's not a final table.
And the action is on seat 7. That's Dan. He's going to throw his hand away. Jen throws her hand away. Goes all the way to Vincent in seat 2. And he's going to limp in the cutoff seat. Wow, he's limping in with Queen Jack. I mean, we've seen him raise with 10-9
Queen Jack
out of
suited,
position.
yeah.
That's a raising hand in that spot.
8-7 deuce here.
And he probably would have taken it down.
Well, this flop's missed everyone. So.
Yeah, and he's probably going to take it down anyway.
You know, the funny thing is I overheard somebody saying, I might have to put my cards in the camera. This isn't a tournament final table. Exactly. The first and only cash game that is broadcasted.
Pretty exciting stuff, huh? And we do this every Monday through Friday, folks. 7
Yeah.
to 10 p.m. Pacific time. We show live cash games.
So tomorrow night we'll either have our $80 no limit or our $300 to $500 no limit.
Or who knows, maybe even a $200 buy-in no limit. Wednesday's our big game. We've got a no limit game with 25-50 blinds. Minimum buy-in is $3,000. No maximum. Friday's also a big game. We have a no limit game again with a 10-20 blinds.
Limped around here, 8-3 deuce. Ace-8 over there for seat 7.
Yeah, and Dan's going to bet it.
Yeah. And Vincent here with Jack-9, he's often taken one off when it hasn't made a lot of sense.
Can I hear something about
He's got a backdoor straight draw.
He makes the call with Jack-9. Again, the board is 8-3 deuce. And Craig calls with Queen-10.
Oh, he's got the backdoor flush draw.
Turns a 7. Well, Vincent's picked up the gut shot backdoor straight draw, and Ace-8's going to bet again.
I mean, this is one of those times where if the 10 comes on the river and you have ace-8, you kind of just got to look at the flop for like a couple of minutes, like wondering, what was he in there with?
Vincent calls. Now, he does have
Overcards.
2 overcards as
Yeah.
well. Well, the river's a king. That's not going to do it. And look at this. Vincent's going to bet here because it got checked to him.
Yep. And
But
that's,
Dan's going to call.
now, Vincent's a great player to check to induce bluffs.
And he shows the Jack-9.
Yeah.
I think Vincent might be playing off like a loose, aggressive post-flop style where he's like, maybe I'll pick up a draw on the turn. But if it's going to get checked to me, I'm always going to bet.
Yeah. And that works sometimes. Against certain players, obviously Jen has picked him off, and obviously Dan picked him off there. And I believe... Wow, this is the last
Yeah,
hand
this
of
is
the
going
night.
to be the last hand of the night. Limit Hold'em, always a pleasure.
Yeah, another night of Live at the Bike flies
Right.
by. Here at Live at the Bike, we try to keep it real,
Right.
and we'll talk about anything that makes sense to us.
Ace King of Hearts over here for Jacob in seat 4.
Deuces for Michael.
Jacob's going to raise. Well, Michael limped in after one limper. Again, that's probably a raise or a fold hand because there's only one person ahead of me in the hand. Jacob's a tight player to my left.
Yeah.
Do I want to just take it limped around with 3 people in the hand?
Yeah, I almost want to take it heads up. Oh, there's a set.
He's got a set.
You almost want to take it heads up, or you want to
Yeah.
you want like 7 or 8 callers.
Craig's got a straight draw. Let's see how Michael's going to play it here.
Well, where's the Michael?
He's going to bet.
Now, is Craig in there still?
Now, Jacob should just fold here, ace, king of hearts, right? I mean, there's 6 people in the hand.
It's an easy laydown. Easy laydown. You've got
Yeah.
ace, king of hearts. You've missed the flop completely.
But he's going to raise now. And he is drawing dead to Michael's hand, right? Unless he made a straight. I guess he
Well,
can
it
catch
gets
a
4.
That's amazing.
And it's heads up here.
Poker?
Well, Vincent hasn't folded
Oh,
yet with
I'm
king
sorry.
3.
Apologize. And Vincent's got the king of spades in his hand.
Now, let's see if Michael jams it up here. Way too many action killers. I assume that he's going to 3-bet.
Oh, this is clear as day. 3-bet it.
Yep.
And if Michael was 3-betting you,
And again, Jacob.
if Michael 3-bets
Yeah.
you, what does that say about your hand?
How about a nice 3 here on the turn, or a king? How about a king? Turns at 9. No, that's not going to get anyone
Yeah,
else.
king would have been perfect,
Yeah.
obviously. Hit Jacob and Vincent.
Michael's going to bet now again. Jacob folds, but Vincent's going to call.
Yeah, and Vincent's drawing dead.
He is.
Be able to tell me if the
And the river's a 3rd spade. Well, if it gets checked to me,
I
Michael's going to bet
good,
again.
Good for Michael. If you get check raised with the flush, hey, so be it.
I don't know if Vincent's going to pay it off.
No, it doesn't look like he is.
Nope.
Mike, and look at that. SP surfing on 2+2 takes down a last hand of the night.
Shows the set of deuces.
Shows his ducks.
Well, that's going to do it for us tonight. Another day down in the annals and history of Live at the Bike. Please
Annals,
join
annals.
us tomorrow for $80 no limit, or possibly $300 to $500. So for everyone in the booth and Dave Tuckman, I'm Bart Hanson. Good night, everybody, from Live at the Bike.
Good night.
It's here. It's big. And it's closer than you think. It's not a tournament. It's what you don't see on TV. The cash is real. The stakes are high. They bet big. They win big. They lose big. High stakes live action poker. Live at the Bike. Watch it live on the web or play it if you dare at the Bicycle Casino right here in Los Angeles.